What is going on out there in the virtual world that you're stuck in? Welcome, everybody, to another episode of What's Your Question, Part 14. And I'm trying to be consistent with these and get them out, every week. This is what I do on my Saturn night. My Saturday is I get out there and share some time with all of you. So nonetheless, welcome wherever you are around the world. Thank you very much for joining in. I mean, as I always say, you could have been anywhere tonight, but you decided, or this morning, or wherever it is out there in the world for you. You could have been anywhere, but you decided to come in and join. So I'm very grateful. And I know we'll have our probably typical 80 to 100 people on, which is great. And we're building a community. We're getting it bigger and bigger as we continue to decode this reality called life. And there's a lot of great decoders out there, and you are one of them. And this is the very reason why we are building this community, because we're strength in numbers, and we are continuing on our march through this matrix and deciphering it and breaking it down and trying to figure out how the hell it works. And I think we're getting close to figuring that out. So nonetheless, before I get started, jump into this, I'm having some, as you can notice, I have a different, I got my green screen in, I'm having some fun with it. This was kind of last minute because I was helping out Santos and Danny tonight, and they decided to do their podcast tonight, and so I had to run down there and help them with theirs, and so I didn't get a good time frame to prepare for this one, and I'm just kind of messing around, having fun. It'll get better and better as I go along, but I'm having fun. And this one, I know this is probably not the best, but I kind of like the brick, so I'm just sticking with it. And the green screen's kind of funky, trying to get the lighting down and where I don't look like I'm really cut out. So I don't know how long this is going to last. I'm just messing around with it, but I'm having fun. So anyway, folks, thanks for joining in, wherever you are around the world. And I want to ask somebody in the chat room here, how's my audio? Is my voice synced up with my audio? And can you guys hear the music? Because I don't think you can. My settings, I think, have changed on this whole entire technical journey I've been on between my podcast and helping Santos and Danny with theirs. And they have they're going to have multiple cameras with theirs, and it's going to be a little bit more in depth than mine. But I'm trying to add on slowly to this Decode Your Reality and What's Your Question podcast. So I have a little something new that I'm going to incorporate tonight, and I've added another camera. I don't know if the battery's going to die on this because of the way this thing's set up, but let me see if I can just show you really quickly. Let's see if I can toggle back and forth. So here's my card cam. I'm calling it the card cam. And I have 3 piles. And what's really popular on the web today, and there's some people out there that are really good at it, they do what they're called pick-a-card readings. And it's where they line up piles of cards, and then you choose whatever pile you resonate with, and then they do a reading for those 3 piles or 5 piles or whatever. But I have 3 piles laid out tonight, and I thought it would be kind of fun. I don't know where this is going to lead. This may be a complete disaster. I don't know. I'm just rolling with it. But I felt tonight maybe a nice thing to give to all of you, to have a choice in the collective consciousness card reading. And this will be, I thought, really in a basic fundamental format, it would be you choose whatever pile you resonate with on what's going to be coming down the pike for you, what's going to be important for you in the next upcoming months as we move here in the Tropic of Cancer into the hot summer months and into the fall season. And for those of you that are watching in the Tropic of Capricorn, of course, you're in your fall, moving into your winter. Well, you're actually in your winter now because it is the summer here. So I thought this would be kind of fun, and I'm gonna roll with that and see how it works and see if I have any glitches and get some feedback from all of you. As I said, I'm really just experimenting with all of this and having fun with it. So I got my cards. I have my I have my cards with me. As most of you know, I'm a huge fan of the cards of illumination, the tarot. And of course, we can't leave out the medicine deck. Well, look at that. Those are transparent. You see what I mean? How this green screen works? It's because the cards are green, and it's picking up. It's pretty funky. So I don't know how long this green screen is going to last. I may just go back to a backdrop and just get another backdrop and call it a day. I just don't know yet. I'm just having fun with all of this, and I'm just trying to give each and every one of you a better experience. Because we all want to be entertained as much as we all like to be, given wisdom and knowledge. And that's what I live for. We like to be entertained at the same time. And so I'm trying to give each and every one of you the best experience. No background music. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm the only one that's going to be hearing my music until I can figure out why it's not coming through. But anyway, I'm sure most of you have your own music playing, so that's fine. But I have to have something going in the background, which I do. I have my headphones in. And then, we're going to be doing some phone calls tonight. Here's your chance to have your voice heard and, have a topic, have a point. If you want to discuss a decode that I've been doing or have done, or if you have a decode you want to talk about. Some of you have contacted me with some information. A lot of you have contacted me with what you're finding when you're decoding reality. And I'm really inspired because of all of you out there that are doing this. And this is becoming a bigger and bigger thing. It seems like so many people now are decoding reality. If it's not themselves, they're decoding the matrix itself, movies, music, people, places, and things, and all that kind of stuff. So first things first, this t-shirt is part of one of my sponsors called the healersproject.com, and they have mugs, t-shirts on there, and you can grab this Gratitude Junkie t-shirt if you so choose, if you resonated with it. I'm huge into being a gratitude junkie, and when you're a gratitude junkie, you must live in the now moment as much as possible, because you're constantly focusing on the things that are in your reality at the current moment. Like when you take a shower, are you giving gratitude to your shower head? When you're brushing your teeth, are you giving gratitude to your teeth? Some of these things may seem a little bit kind of like, kind of child stuff, like giving thanks to my teeth. Well, yeah, your teeth are all energy. Everything's all living energy. And so therefore, when's the last time you gave thanks to your teeth for chewing your food all these years? When's the last time you, said thank you to your car that you drive that gives you the transportation? It's just all of these kinds of things. And being a gratitude junkie to me is a big component in the world of living out life. And I feel that is a very important thing for all of us to do. So those are kind of some of the things that's going on. I'm going to wait for some more people to jump on. I saw Caroline. I heard you. Caroline got a hoodie and t-shirt. I think Denise, you did too. Okay, Richard, thank you. Audio is lagging a little bit. It shouldn't be lagging at all. I have a very strong. Let me just see. Hold on, folks. I don't know if this is going to get interrupted, but let's. All right. So there we go. I had to hardwire myself in, and I lost some people, but that's okay. So thank all of you for sticking around, bearing with the technical difficulties on this journey. So let's get into some of your questions. Let me get into some of your questions. Would you ever want to discuss the Matrix, reincarnation, soul trap together on a stream? I covered extensively and present endless evidence. Forever Conscious Research Channel. I'm totally down with doing podcasts. I have one scheduled next week with a gentleman, and that one will be on his channel and maybe mine. I'm not sure. And then I have another one scheduled in a few weeks as well. I'm all for doing live streams and broadcasts with other people. Come on. I'm all for doing broadcasts and live streams with other people. And I would love to talk about anything involved with decoding reality, the Matrix, reincarnation, and soul trap. I'm all down for that. You know, there are some people that believe that we are trapped here. And that may be a possibility. But, you know, you would have to ask yourself, what would the point be of being trapped here? You know, what would that point be of being trapped here, and why? You know, because it's all, to me, my research, as most of you, if you saw my last decode on Ring of Fire, well, it's clear that, you know, the comedy in this is that we're all in hell. And that's why they say make heaven on earth. And so, to me, the architect, whatever created this reality, whatever that looks like to you, because it's all about what you believe, but what I believe, whatever created this reality, it ends up coming down here and becoming all of us. And it likes to experience its own game of life. So if you'd want to call that a soul trap, I guess that would kind of be in line with that. And I'm totally down. So Forever Conscious Research Channel, totally down. Okay, I'm going through the comments here. What's up, Eric Ruffino? Yeah, Eric, I got your email, by the way, but, and I appreciate that. I just haven't responded to, I have so backed up with so much going on with helping people and myself and all that kind of stuff. So again, you know, folks, it really comes down to this. If you use logic and discernment and common sense, okay, is that all that matters, and again, these are just my opinions and truths, right? But all that matters to me is making your best experiences in life. All that matters is your journey, not mine, not the people that are going to watch this presentation, not the almost 8 billion people living today. No one matters except for you. Because you see, when you die, when you pass on, you will do that by yourself. When you were born into this world, you did that on your own, even though your mom may have pushed you through the birth canal and the doctor may have pulled you out and snipped the cord, or however you came out. You came in and you will go out by yourself. So everybody's living inside your world. And, you know, I believe that that's why you got to make the truth your own. And, you know, it's very possible that each and every one of us, and I was just commenting this with Dr. Savage for his great comments, and I was just commenting on this, and it's very possible that we are all of us are creating our own fractals inside this big fractal called life. And what you believe in, what you put your faith in, that's exactly what you're going to experience when you leave. But nonetheless, the most important thing for each and every one of us to do is to make the truth our own and do, as I mentioned, be a DJ of life. You cherry pick and say, "Oh, I like that. I'm gonna adopt that as." And then you may read the Bible, the Upanishads, or the Tibetan Book of the Dead, or the ancient books of Shinto, or some of these great ancient texts, and you'd be like, "Oh, I like this. I like that." We become DJs of life. That's what we do. And that's why I feel making the truth your own is the most important thing. And we all have our own specific code based upon multiple layers through the matrix and what it includes, such as astrology, numerology, personality types, color types. I mean, there's so many different ways to break down your specific code, which is why I encourage each and every one of you to do that. The majority of people do not know why they're here. They just end up trekking through life and, you know, that's it. They call it a day. But I think the real power is experiencing your best life through the wisdom and knowledge of knowing what your blueprint is. So yeah, getting some comments. I am part of those who volunteered. People think that I did a interview with my friend TN, who's a advanced Akashic Records reader, and that podcast is blowing up. And a lot of you watched it. Thanks for watching that. Maybe some of you have booked readings with TN. But if you believe in the Akashic Records and the things that TN talks about, she thinks that we actually decided upon our journeys before we all got here. And then there were some comments which kind of really puts that whole philosophy on fire, because then you get into, well, what about the people that are doing bad things? Did they choose that before they came here? What about the pedophiles and the murderers and the serial killers? Did they make that choice before they came here to incarnate? So it really starts to get you scratching your head and really kind of thinking about things on a deeper, more profound level. If you end up moving towards believing in you create your own destiny before you ever got here. See, I personally believe that without a shadow of a doubt, and that's why now I have over 200 videos, the majority of them are with the support and showing the patterns that mankind is completely being used through the script, and you must follow the script. Now, I'm not saying there's no free will, but if you're getting too off course, you will be pushed on course, because everybody has a job to do. So we are all the architect. That's why I end up moving towards we are all, whatever created this reality, it comes down here and it becomes man. And there may be many architects, as I call them, handlers. And of course, then you have the stories of the watchers and all these other things in ancient texts that you can read from book to book. So if you think we came here by choice, that's great. See, there's really no way, again, there's no way to prove that. I've talked extensively with TN on that. See, there's no way to prove that you chose your script before you got here. But it definitely falls in line with the architect using mankind. And then, of course, the architect did all the coding, the script. It wrote the numbers. See, because our reality is all based on numbers and symbols. When you break it down, that's why math is the measurement of our reality. Geometry, everything's all uses math. So you must incorporate numbers to define the things that we see, not the other way around, even though it's a contradiction. And so whether or not we wrote the script, it's the architect that writes the script, sends us down here, and that's where you get the fallen angel story from, I believe anyway. And, of course, the architect is the good and the bad. It's the Jesus and Thomas Jesus and Lucifer, and we all have that inside of our brains. I showed that in my decode of the last one I just put out, Ring of Fire, with our brains. The right and left hemispheres of our brains are the good and bad, so to speak. The Jesus and Thomas, the doubting Thomas and the Jesus. Jesus and Lucifer. Thomas is Lucifer. That's a no-brainer now. The two fish. But nonetheless, yeah, past life regressions. I'm a huge Dolores Cannon fan. I have friends that do past life regressions, but there was a show on Netflix, a really good one called Dark. If you haven't seen that, I shouldn't say always and use absolutes. I've suggested this show many times on my podcasts and my decodes. It's called Dark on Netflix, and that story, that entire series is just about us being recycled back into the game and changing avatars. So it's like, anybody that you meet in this reality and you end up getting into a relationship with them, the chances of you having a relationship with them in a past life is very, 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 very high. And you may end up doing it again in the next life. Give it a second chance or third chance. So in essence, when you start to decode your reality, and I've shown now so many times that my life, using me as the example, my life is completely scripted, completely, without a shadow of a doubt. And why would I just be an exception? Why would I just be scripted and no one else? That wouldn't make any sense. So to me, everybody's life is scripted, and that's why over 200 videos now showing people, places, and things, breaking down movies and superstars on the world stage and just common people, the Dalai Lama, religion, churches. I mean, everything I've covered in almost so many different topics. And the results have always been the same. There is no deviation away from the results. And the results are, the patterns show that it's whatever created this reality comes down here and becomes mankind. So in essence, we are the architect. And there are so many ancient texts that say that. So, I'm going through your comments. So, folks, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. And that is that, you see, this reality, it's not real to whatever created it. We could say it's the third eye, which if you saw my decode on Architect of the Universe 4, I talked extensively about the pineal gland. And, since we have these chakras, so does the architect. I believe the planets are the architect's chakras. And, they say Saturn is the sixth planet. Well, that would be the third eye, the hexagon. Like I put a hex on you. And the six-sided polygonal shape called the hexagon is exactly the six-sided shape that makes up a bee's hive, the honeycomb. And then you get into the queen bee. And then you synchronize the word queen. And then you synchronize the first letter in the word queen, which is Q, which is the 17th letter, which is the mountain lion in the medicine card deck. Think about that. The lion, the mountain lion coming down from the mountain, and then you have the star card. And it's very possible that we are servicing the queen bee. And that queen, folks, to me appears to be my little static in my audio here, folks. Hang on a second. Hang on a sec, folks. So it appears that the queen bee, could possibly be the tetragrammaton. And that completely goes in line with the Iron Age, because it's the Iron Age to where the tetragrammaton seems to be first on the scene. And of course, iron has an abbreviation. If you've been following this great research, iron, which is the 26th element, which is a direct synchronization of the word God in the English. 26 letters of the alphabet is a direct synchronization of the element iron and its protons. And then iron has an abbreviation of the letters F and E, which stands for ferrum in Latin. And I believe that it really means female, F-E, female, iron. Now we have, we have iron in our blood. Okay, yeah, my video is a little fuzzy. It's because I'm using a green screen, and so you'll just have to bear with me. I may scrap this. I'm just giving it a test run, so that's why it's a little jumpy. But it's very possible that the iron is the tetragrammaton, and remember that we have iron in our blood. And without the iron, it wouldn't carry it's all part of the oxygen and the transportation of oxygen through the blood, which of course makes us magnetic, because iron is totally in line with being magnetic. And if you really look at the synchronization of the nature's trinity, as I brought out in Angel Falls and 42 Decoded, that the sun, the moon, and earth are the trinity. It's our incarnation, reincarnation process. And of course, Earth is the ending spot for all of us as we incarnate probably from the moon. The moon is the giver to the clouds, and the moon is tied to rain, and rain is reincarnation, and that whole process. I'm looking at your comments, folks. Looking at your comments. So, folks, getting more into this aspect of being human, and of course, the architect using us as its playground, so to speak. But we end up giving feedback. Now, when you really start to break things down in our reality, as I showed in the decode of Groundhog Day, if you have not seen that decode yet, I would highly suggest that you check that decode out. In that decode, there were many hints throughout the movie telling us that we're in hell. The license plate on the train, there was so many synchronicities in there, and it was clear that sulfur is a representation of hell. Fire and brimstone that talks about in the scriptures, the script. That's why scripture has the word script in it. It's a script. But sulfur is one of the 6 essential elements. And 6, of course, is the days of creation. It's the hexagon. It's tied to Saturn and the third eye. So all these synchronize. But in the movie Groundhog Day, I showed that 32, which is sulfur's average atomic weight, is a doubling of 16, which is the word hell. The word hell in numerology equals 16. When you double 16, it becomes 32. 32 degrees is the temperature at which water freezes. So you have 33 degrees ascension, liquefaction, and then just 1 degree below that at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, you have the changing of a liquid to a solid. That is giving us the example of descending down here to Earth and becoming physical matter. Clearly. And, when you synchronize the conversion of Fahrenheit to Celsius, this is a big one, folks. This is a big one. I've shown this many times on my social media page. But when you synchronize the 32 degrees Fahrenheit being freezing and water turning from a liquefied state to a solid state, 32 degrees is 0 degrees Celsius, and that's, this guy right here. Oh, you can't even see it because my... That's the Fool card. Look at that Fool card, man. It's like transparent. How cool, though. Okay. I got to probably not use this green screen anymore. It's kind of going to mess stuff up. But I should probably put it under the camera. Actually, let me do it here. This card right here. No, now my camera's off. All right, this is going to be a disaster. Looks like I'm not going to be able to do what I wanted to do tonight. Oh, well. Well, anyways, let's keep going with this, folks. But the Fool is the 0, and the Fool is the tied to physical matter in hell. And it all synchronizes beautifully. And I don't know if the people that wrote these cards, that made them up, had that in mind. Like, let's make a 0 card. It's the Fool, and the 0 is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and 32 is the temperature at which water turns from a liquefied state to a solid state, which gives us the indication of being stuck down here in hell, which is tied to sulfur. Yeah, there you go. When hell freezes over. Nice one, Karen. There you go. I'm sure, and the Eagles have a album or a song, I think, when hell freezes over. But in the Groundhog Day, I showed that 32 was all over that movie. And then, of course, the element that is the 32nd one is called germanium, and germanium has an atomic weight of 72 for its average, and that brings into the synchronization of the 72 angels and demons that are talked about in the ancient text. Both 72. And you get the names of the God in the Judeo-Christian Old Testament. So it just all synchronizes, but we become transistors. We become feedback. It's like if someone rubs against your skin, the skin is going to instantly give you feedback of them rubbing their fingers across your skin. If somebody stabs you, if somebody, pokes you with a pencil, the skin instantly gives you feedback. It's instant. Like, you ever walk barefoot on the ground? Like I go to the beach and try to ground, so you walk barefoot, but you notice that when you step on a rock barefoot, it's instant. And then you can have the time to like pull your foot up just before you really step on that rock that would probably rip your skin, or it would be really painful. So the skin gives us feedback, and the brain provides that. And in Groundhog Day, I showed that we're all transistors, and transistors are what sit on top of a motherboard on a computer, and the motherboard is Earth. That's our computer. Nature's computer is the Earth plane, the motherboard. And in the so below, the artificial intelligence that mankind has created is the computer board itself, which has a central processing unit. Our central processing unit would be our brains, the receiving station. And we provide feedback to the architect, just like the skin provides us feedback when something hurts or feels good or what have you. And it goes all over the body. When you start to study the body, you go in the lungs. The lungs have what's called cilia, and those are always moving. And, there's so many moving parts to your body. And then you get into the microbiology world, and you're going to get into things you cannot see with the naked eye. You have to get into the microscope, and you'll see a whole new world down there. And it's just another layer from our physical reality down to the micro reality. And it's another world in there. And you can keep going down and down. And so if you can keep going down, you can keep going up. And it seems like it's infinite. And as these layers get into different dimensions, things get a little bit more complicated. So let me get to some of your questions. Would I ever move to Brazil? Yeah, I mean, I'm open to going anywhere. I have this big draw to Japan, and ever since I decoded, if you haven't seen my Random Thoughts number 6, in that decode, I broke down the blood types, the 8 blood types, and those are directly through the methodology that I use. Through the elements of the periodic table and numerology, it's linked to the 113th element called Nihonium. And that is coming from the word Nihon, which means Japan. That's who found or discovered the 113th element called Nihonium, was researchers at Japan. And that Nihonium, of course, 113 is the 30th prime number. That's linked to the demiurge. It's linked to the New Age name called Jehovah. It's all synchronized. And of course, that Jehovah is the Yahweh. Yahweh came on the Iron Age. That's Tetragrammaton. We have blood in our iron. We have iron in our blood. So it just all synchronizes. But Japan seems to be, even the flag of Japan has a red blood cell on it. They call it the sun, but it's a white flag with a red dot in the middle. I mean, it's a no-brainer there. And then when you look at the syncs of our blood types, and it being 286 is the total numerology for all 8 blood types. And that 286 is linked to Nihonium, and that's linked to Japan. And of course, Japan is known as the land of the rising sun. So there's a synchronicity there. And it just keeps going, folks. And so clearly this entire reality is scripted. Absolutely 1,000 emphatically scripted. Big Cat Truth. I feel like I'm in hell. You're in hell, folks. You're in it. That's why they say make heaven on earth. You're in hell right now. You're in it. And of course, it gets worse when you move into the dark age. And I think, we're in the dark age. We may be at the tail end of the dark age. But as, if you look at these ages, all you have to do is observe the bigger picture. And that is, when you get sick, when your body gets sick, you're in the dark age. You're not healthy. You have some kind of disease going through you, or a virus is going through you, or whatever. You're in essence, you're in a dark age. When you're depressed, you're in a dark age. Stress, anxiety, it's all moving to the dark age, right? But when you're high on life and you're just killing it and you're just on one of those massive waves that you're supposed to ride as long as you can, when you're feeling really good and your body's in homeostasis, which is balance, when you're all about prevention and your blood work's off the charts, you're just feeling really good, you're at a pinnacle in life, you're in your golden age. And that's exactly how this cosmos works. The cosmos starts off brand new baby. And then as time moves, time decays. And time is Satan. That's why Satan only has a short period of time. It's the time god. Time decays. Give something time and you will shatter any 5-star. There is no such thing as a 5-star rating when time is involved. You may have a 5-star rating for a short period of time, but over time, you will end up losing that 5-star rating unless you just completely keep everything in secret and no one has a chance to see it. Time decays things. Time decays the car you drive. Time decays your body. Time decays your eyesight. Time decays, your limbs, your tendons, your cartilage. So when you're a baby, that's golden age. And then when you move into a senior citizen, that's dark age. That's the same thing with this cosmos, ladies and gentlemen. That's why all these ancient texts tell you that we go from the golden age to the dark age, and then we repeat the cycle. The cosmos gets rebirthed. It gets reborn. And it just never stops. Transformation, transmutation. And that's how this reality works. Make no mistake about it. That's how it works. Golden age to dark age, folks. And then the game repeats. And wherever you sit in that is wherever you sit. There's no escaping it. So you may have many possibilities in life, but you have no choice. Because once you incarnate into this world, the choice you have is living through life. That's it. You can't escape that choice. So really on me saying nothing really moves anywhere. All of this physical reality is holographic. Well, it is holographic because it's light. But what happens when the light goes out? Like right now, I'm using studio lights. If I turn those studio lights out, you wouldn't see me anymore. So where's the holographic aspect? So in essence, yes, it is. But then if you turn the lights out, the holographic, that whole theory kind of goes out the window. But yes, we are living in a simulation. And we are an experiment. Mankind is an experiment. I did this on rat in a cage. That's why scientists experiment on rats and mice. What do you think experiments on us? You think we get a free pass? You think human beings are that important where we don't get experimented on? Not by mankind, by something outside of this reality. It's the way it works, folks. I found this really good meme, and it said, a rich man digs for truth, and a poor man what was it? A rich man digs for truth. I can't remember the meme now. Son of a gun. Oh, a poor man complains about what they find. A rich man digs for truth, and a poor man complains about what he might find or what she might find. It's not this reality is not what we think it is. So again, folks, I mean, I've done so much research on this topic now. I have so many decodes, and you know, as most of you know, and I as much as I appreciate the comments and all that kind of stuff, the challenge with the chat box is that, see, you cannot, as a person in the chat room, you cannot get your point across the way you want to get your point across because you're using text, and that's like a step down from me speaking, right? And so you really can't voice your opinion. It's really challenging. And then most of you know how I feel about opinions. Opinions suck, in my opinion. It's kind of a play on words. Opinions that have some kind of support. That's what I'm looking at as a researcher and scientist. I am all about what I can prove with support. And some of this stuff is so theoretical, even with support, by proving these theories, they're still just an opinion. It's just an opinion that doesn't suck as much. But I treat everything, as most of you know now, I treat everything like I'm an attorney and I'm going to a trial. And in that trial, both the prosecution and defense have to prove their case. And that's where we kind of have to draw the line, folks, because I see so many people out there that they have no support for what they're going to present to the jury. They just have an opinion. So there's no documents being submitted. There's no witnesses being called on the stand to testify, to give support, professionals. You're just either regurgitating something you read and adopted as your own, or you're just stating your opinion with absolutely no support. And, you know, I'm a kind of an asshole when it comes to this because I'm not very fond of opinions. Most opinions I see are just regurgitation. People just say things that I've already heard before. And it doesn't mean it's wrong, because everybody's right. And it's all a matter of you making the truth your own anyway. It doesn't matter what I believe. It doesn't matter what I say. What matters at the end of the day is what you end up adopting as your own beliefs. But majority of people don't end up doing any of their own research. They'll just read a book and it sounds good and be like, oh, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, that's the way it works. That's the way it works. And I don't roll that way. And most of you now that are on this Decode Your Reality channel, you know how many methodologies that I use. Like 10, 12, all synchronized together. That to me is how you win a trial in court. Supporting evidence. That to me shows undeniability when it comes to saying this entire reality is scripted. All right. Looking through your comments. Just looking at your comments, folks. This is Lucifer is it's a very big topic that we could get into tonight. Very big topic. And We have a comment here from the master theologian. Hi, thanks for your support and joining in. Saying, the light bringer is Lucifer. Well, that's pretty common for people to say. Lucifer's linked to, in the Greeks, linked to phosphorus, which means the light bearer. But what is Lucifer? And, if we really go tit for tat here, folks, you see, the only mentioning in the scriptures, remember, scripture means script, has the word script in it, part of the script. The only scripture that ever talks about the light bringer is Isaiah 14 verses 12. That's the only one that actually has Lucifer's name in it. And the original spelling was in Hebrew or Aramaic. And it wasn't even Lucifer. Ever. The actual spelling of it in the conversion into English was Hyll, otherwise known as hell. It's really funny, actually. It's kind of comical. I didn't even include that in my last decode of Ring and Fire, and I could have, because the word hell, you want to talk about a synchronization, ladies and gentlemen, the word hell in the Chaldean is the number 16, which is sulfur, which is very violent in water. And the character they casted for Lucifer on Netflix, Thomas John Ellis, his birth card is the 16th card. It's the 3 of clubs. That's his birth card. It's the same card as Jerry Bruckheimer, the executive producer. Same birth card, 3 clubs. What do you think the odds would be on that? That they both have the same birth card. And that Hyll sounds a hell of a lot like hell. And the breakdown of that hell is 39. It's 39 in numerology. So then if you like numerology, when you bring in the Hyll, not Lucifer, because that's a different number, that's 28. That leads to architect and antimony, the all-seeing eye. But through the original spelling of it, where the origination of the story came from, now it could have other meanings. Of course, you can get into Azazel and Samuel and all these other ones and other ancient texts. But we're talking about what made it popular is the Old Testament. And Hyll, ladies and gentlemen, in the breakdown of numerology is the number 39. 39, of course, is linked to the sun. The sun that gives light each and every day. Isn't that the light bringer? Wouldn't that be considered? See, most people I know like to think Lucifer is Venus. And they regurgitate that story. And that may be true for you. But when you synchronize the numerology and the tarot cards and the cards of illumination, it does not link to Venus. The light bringer is linked to the sun, which is otherwise known as the devil. The word devil in numerology equals the number 19, and the 19th card in the tarot is the sun card. I mean, it's summertime here. Today it was like, it was hot here in Mexico. Humid and hot. High 90s probably. That sun was hot. So you could say the sun is the devil because it's the great beast. Gives a lot of heat. It can fry you. See, the moon won't do that. The moon, you could sit out in the moon all night long when it's a full moon. You're not gonna get burnt by the moon. It's not gonna happen. So that's why I believe the moon is feminine dominant and the sun is masculine dominant. But that's why I believe that the sun is tied to Lucifer, the light bringer, which is also tied to Jesus, which is the Son of God in the story. So you have now a story that you can bolt on and synchronize with Jesus and Thomas, the two brothers. And Thomas John Ellis was the character they casted for Lucifer. I mean, what are the odds would that be the case? And, Jesus, as I showed in my decode of Jacob's Ladder, Jesus was born of the Virgin, Virgo, and the opposite house of Virgo is Pisces. And of course, Jesus was made famous in the Piscean age. And most of us probably were born in the Piscean age. So all these synchronicities, folks, that's how, to me, that's how you support theories. Because all of this is all theoretical, right? But how would you be able to support it with more and more layers? Well, you have to bring in all those layers and synchronize them all. So I'm looking through your comments. Satan, who is the god of the world? Well, Satan is just time. I don't know how much more clear I try to be with people, but it's like the God of the Old Testament and the New Testament, that is Satan as well, folks. I don't know how you can screw this up. See, people want to put a separation on that. Because we are the architect, folks. It comes down here and becomes man. That's where you get the fall of man from. Satan is time. It's time. The time god. It's all tied together. There's no separation. I don't know how people can screw this up. They want to, you get into the scapegoat, and that's people want to put the blame. What do you think the architect does? You think the architect has different parameters on what it wants to display as itself? I mean, the God of the Old Testament and the New Testament anyway is all tied to Saturn. It's all Saturn. Saturn, which is Chronos. Chronos is time. That's why you have chronographic watches. Chronos is the god of time. Tetragrammaton is Chronos. Chronos is Saturn. Saturn is Yahweh. Yahweh is the Yod. The Yod is the Tetragrammaton, which is Satan. It's the same character, folks. There's no separation. I don't know how more people can't get this concept. Did any ancient civilizations worship the moon? That's a great question, because you see, the moon god was known as Sin. And that's why I had said so much that it's very possible that the Christ is a big piece of the moon, because the moon is definitely feminine. The moon definitely can't burn you like the sun can. So there's no there's no heavy arsenal coming from the moon. And the moon controls the tides, and the tides are water. And so the moon controls the rain, and the rain is precipitation. That's reincarnation through nature. And of course, Jesus supposedly is there to take away your sins. And if the god of the moon in the ancient times was called the sin god, can you see the correlation and the synchronization of that? All these stories tie together, folks. There's no separation of these stories. They just get watered down a little bit, and you got to dig a little bit more. So, folks, you can't leave out Yaldabaoth as well, the Gnostic demiurge. Because Yaldabaoth, which is the octopus, which is the spider, a lot of worship to the octopus. Yaldabaoth could, in fact, be the demigod. It could be the ruler of all rulers. And Lucifer and Jesus, or Jesus and Thomas, are the personalities of the demigod. Call it the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, but that's part of the sun anyway. And then you get into the Vedic system. And does that open up another can? And then you get into, which I've been studying a lot of, you get into Rahu and Ketu, which is, of course, the dragon's head and the dragon's tail. Rahu doesn't mess around. You got to know where your Rahu is at, folks. Where's your Rahu located at? And there's two main charts in Vedic astrology. You got your Lagna, and then you have your Navasha chart. And you got to know where your Rahu is. Rahu is the malefic one. Rahu is the black sun. When you see a solar eclipse, that's Rahu. That ain't the moon. When you have a full eclipse, that would be Rahu, the black sun. So we can't leave any of these points out or parts out. And, that could be your Lucifer character, is the black sun. Or it could be the Jesus character. But either way, the sun's the devil, folks. It will fry you, and that's its job. It actually is an evaporator. The sun, as much as it gives light and is a partner with plants and photosynthesis, that sucker will evaporate you. If you go outside during the summer months and you ain't hydrated, you're not going to last very long. You start sweating. That's what the sun does. It evaporates you. The sun takes, it gives to the moon. The moon condenses everything. And then the moon gives to the clouds, which then precipitate. So it's evaporate, condense, precipitate. That's the Trinity. People are catching on. All you have to do is look in nature and you'll find the truth. Nature will tell you every truth you're looking for. The master theologian. I need to dig a lot more. I have. I'm not just a guy sitting here eating a grilled cheese sandwich, spewing off a bunch of nonsense. All I do every day for 8 hours a day or more is research. And I'm not someone who just reads the Holy Bible and said, oh, that's it. I'm going to call it a day. That's the truth. See, if you haven't read the Upanishads, how can you say the Holy Bible is the only way? If you haven't read the ancient texts of Shinto, how could you say that it's the Holy Scriptures? If you haven't read the Upanishads, how can you say that it's this book and that book only? Folks, you see, the bottom line is this, ladies and gentlemen. Religion, and I've supported this now, okay? I've supported this master theologian. I've supported this over and over and over and over again. Now, not just with my opinion. So I don't need to, I need to dig a lot more. Absolutely. There's a lot of things I have not yet discovered. But you see, I've done so much research, and then as most of you know, that's why you're here, I put it all together. And then synchronize everything. And that, to me, tells the truth. Numbers are what tells the truth, not interpretations of a book. That book has to be interpreted, and it can be interpreted so many different. Why is there not over 10,000 religions? What was wrong with the first one? These religions are they're the wardrobe of the archetype or the architect. That's what religion is. So just pick whichever one you want. Just be a good person. Don't be an asshole. That's it. That's how you win the game of life. That's how you level up, if there is such a thing. If there is such a thing as winning the game of life, don't be an asshole. Be a good person. Be service to others more than you are service to self. It's pretty simple. So in essence, there is no more digging to do, folks. You are the architect. It uses you to experience its own life. It's called your identity. IT. That's the most simplest thing that you could possibly do. I just, as most of you know, that I'm very firm and rigid in my mindset, but I feel like, the comparison that I could give to all of you as an analogy. And sometimes, I come across like an asshole. Sometimes people don't like me. Oh, Logan thinks he knows her. I don't know anything. When you get down into this hole, it becomes so vast and so dark and so big. You realize there's so many moving parts, and you're like, I'm lost. It's just so much easier on the surface. I don't have to worry about it. I'll just read a book and be like, oh, there's the truth right there. It's just so easy just to read a book and say, yeah, I'm just going to put my faith in that. and take the easy route. But when you go into the knowledge aspect and the gnosis and the wisdom and all that stuff, and you go really deep down that hole and you study both sides of the coin, woo, you realize you don't know jack. But you know, the one thing you realize is you're being used to play out a script, the blueprint. It's the puppet master that runs this reality, whatever that looks like to you. And what rules over us is the as above, which has many moving parts. One being astrology, which is the 12 zodiac signs. There's 88 constellations matching the 88 keys on a piano, but there are the 12 zodiac signs. And that's why the 13 has a stigma around it, because 13 is one of the most powerful numbers you can come across. The 1 and the 3. Which give all their energy to the 4, which is the heart, which is the building blocks. It's the cube. Yeah, I mean, there's a good comment. If religion makes you a good person, go for it. Absolutely. Folks, it's the wardrobe of the architect. You know, you got it. When you use your common sense, I just wish people could get this. If you could just put yourself in the shoes of the architect, just for 1 second, you are the God. You have been around for eternity. No beginning, no end. You've been through countless cycles of life. Do you think you're just going to keep the game going the same way all the time? I mean, what happens in our lives? Do you wear the same panties or underwear since you have been wearing panties and underwear? Do you wear the same socks? Do you drive the same car that you drove when you were 16 years old in high school? Do you eat the same foods every single day that you've been eating for the past 20 years? No. You get bored and you change. It's exactly how this game works. That's how the architect is. Imagine being in countless scenarios and you have your patterns and you have your likes and dislikes. But if life was just all fluffy marshmallow clouds and rainbows and beautiful sun every day. I mean, folks, if you're those people that are born in a place where it rains a lot, not only can they become obviously suicidal and depressed and anxiety, but it's like when the sun comes out, you're just like so happy to get out in the sun. Because you're like, God, I'm tired of seeing the rain. And, you know, it kind of goes both ways, because if you're in the sun a lot and it just never rains, you like look forward to the rain. It's like, oh, cool, it's rain. Imagine it never rained ever again, ever. And you just had perfect sun all the time. It would get, honestly, it would get boring, and all of you know that would be the case. So this reality, this game is and has been around for so long, and the architect gets bored. And we are all providing feedback for the architect. In essence, we are the cells inside the cosmos, and we are cells, individual cells providing feedback, and we end up servicing the battery, which is the cosmos. We are batteries, left hand, right hand, anode, cathode. It's pretty simple. We work just like the cells in a battery in your car. We work just like that. That's why in the battery there's called a salt bridge for the battery to operate. That salt bridge is tied to, Jesus said, ye are the salt of the earth. It's just all connected, all of it, and there's no separation. Yeah, just live, have fun, and die. That's it. That's all. Those are the only options you have. You have to live out your life. You have to die, and you have to be born. Those are the three options. That's it. That's your script. Everything in between is all filler stuff, and I'm not belittling that or poo-pooing on it or whatever, but that's how it works. Variety is the spice of life, for sure. It would be like living in California. Yeah. So anyway, folks, I go on these tangents and then I forget. But folks, if you could just put yourself in the architect's position and realize, I mean, when you go down the rabbit hole so deep, like a lot of us have, when you get down there, you realize there are so many opportunities, so many moving parts. It gets so complicated down there. And that's why a lot of people don't want to leave the surface. They're like, I know what I'm going to get and comfortable here. Don't have to worry about this. I'd rather just have the government take care of me and I'll just listen to what they have to say. Tree of life. But when you pick the tree of knowledge, it's a whole different world. And so, this architect has been around for so long that it gets bored. And you must realize, ladies and gentlemen, that we are the theater of life. We are the actors and actresses playing out our parts in this scripted reality. If you study actors and actresses when they go on auditions and then they get casted for a role to play a certain character, they're given their lines to read, to memorize, and then they have to act them out. There's no difference in our life, folks. You just don't have a script that's handed to you like that. But if you believe everything happens for a reason, you saw that that's 113. That's tied to the demiurge. Everything happens for a reason. If you believe in that, then you must believe in the world being scripted. Because if everything happens for a reason, the world's scripted. So, what I was getting at, folks, is that you see, every living thing on this planet is, in essence, the creation of whatever created this world through the architect. And it comes and there's predators and there's prey here in this reality. Like it or not, there's predators and prey, and they're in every single construct in our reality. From our world down to the micro world. Microbiology has predator and prey in it. Go look under the microscope. It's no different down there. It's just you have single cell organisms. It's different in that aspect, but there are predators and preys down there as well. And so we all incarnate into this game called life, and there are predators in this game. And a lot of people, of course, are pointing the finger saying it's this and this group and that group and da-da-da-da-da. And, that may be true. But you see, these people, these organizations, that's their freaking job. That's their job. Their job is to tear people down. Their job is to control and try to rule over you. If you start to study nature, what controls the ants? What controls the wasps? What controls the bees? I was just watching a video on the otters. The animal, the otter. It's a freaking stone cold killer. I never knew that. They end up coming in groups. They attack alligators and crocodiles, and they just kill anything. The sweet little otter. Stone cold killer. Predator. Has nothing to do with sin and none of that stuff. Study nature, folks. You'll get all the things you're looking for, and you'll have all your questions answered if you study nature. That's all you have to do. But anyway, folks, we all were incarnated during this reality, and the game was already set up before you came out and popped out of your mother's womb, before I came here, and the circumstances that you're faced with are already laid out before you. Like if there really are reptilians, draconians that live amongst us, guess what their job is? Why are they here? Who put them here? See, are these the questions that we're asking ourselves, not somebody else? Are these the questions that you're asking yourself? If draconians are real, reptilians, whatever you want to call them, if they're really living amongst us, why are they here? Who put them here? How did they get here? Someone had posed the comment on, I think it was Marianne Hunwick. Thank you for your comment. I had said that I totally love this scenario because it was saying kind of like, these entities, these predators, they were already here before we got here. It's kind of like the I'm just telling folks, listen, there is a YouTube channel of a guy who just takes insects and other animals or other like scorpions and praying mantises, and he throws them in a cage and he lets them fight it out. That's what this guy does. And he has fun with it. It's quite mean, actually. Take the praying mantis is a stone cold killer. It's a cannibal. And it just eats everything that it gets its hands on, mice, hummingbirds, and it typically starts in the head first, alive. It eats its prey alive. Imagine being eaten alive if you're in the insect world. But this guy on YouTube, I don't remember his channel, but he's constantly taking insects and other organisms and putting them in a cage together and letting them battle it out. And when I was really, really, really in the zone, I looked at that as like, is that exactly how our reality works? This architect that runs this reality has been through countless scenarios. And you see, it doesn't view death like we do. I believe that it views death like we view death on a movie. You see, when you watch a movie and somebody dies, is that death real? Or is it fake? And of course, you're going to say, oh, that's just a movie. Don't believe everything you see. And that's true, right? The idea of that. But why do we get emotionally involved with movies then? Why do we cry and laugh if it's not real? See, these are the questions that I think human beings need to start pondering. Because, you see, that's our so below. The television screen that we look into to be entertained by, to be educated by, now it's the internet. Everything's done by the phone or the computer screen. And we watch through a screen, or we have our faces down in that phone, and we're giving it energy, but we're being taught by these things. Well, that's our so below. That's called artificial intelligence, which to me is not even artificial because the architect runs human beings and it's just using us to create this computer system. Because that's what we live in. We live in a computer-generated world. It just doesn't look like it. There's no keyboard. There's no main keyboard to type like that. Like there's a keyboard sitting in front of me to type. And so our so below is the movies. Our so below is the television screen. Our so below is the phone. This is our so below right here. This is our so below. And then what's our as above? And that as above's the architect looking down into its own screen. These are layers, dimensions, if you will. And so we are looking into this, and then you have something else up there or wherever you are. I'm just using it as an analogy, but you have something else that is looking down into us, and it's laughing and crying and watching the horror movies that aren't real. See, when you watch Michael Myers stab somebody in Halloween, or you watch Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th go on a killing spree, it's not real. but you get emotionally involved with it, like it is real. Well, then the architect that created this reality, which many people now, they say we're in a simulation. I firmly believe that. Well, whatever created this reality is looking down at us, and it's laughing, and it's watching horror movies. And you see these, when you look at Hollywood and you realize that these movies, they're not real, number one. But number two, there's a screenplay that somebody had to write. Or maybe the screenplay came off of a book that's an author wrote. And that was made into the movie, but it's not real. But when you put it on the screen, it looks real. It feels real. And the technology now is getting so good, especially in video games. We are now almost merging with the machine, with the video game. We're that close into partly turning into machine. I mean, energy goes where attention flows. What do you think all the energy is going? It's going into this. This is where it's going. And so, our as above is the architect, and it created our own screenplays. It's created all of our movies. And to the architect, we are not real. It's a movie. It's theater. I just wish people could get this concept in their minds. Now, again, this is obviously theoretical, what I'm saying here, but when you use common sense and logic based upon the 200 plus videos that I have decoding all these different people, places, and things and showing you that everything is scripted, you realize that the screenplay, the script, we are in a movie. We are in our own Truman Show. And we are scripted by whatever created this reality, and we are its entertainment. We are an experiment. However you want to slice it or dice it. I just wish more people would have more critical thinking and just really, really pondered that. All those things I just said, that the architect is our as above, and it looks down at the screen, and it's laughing, it's crying, it's getting emotionally involved with our characters. And essentially it writes all of our screenplays. And there may be more than one architect, You have the watchers and the angels and the demons. Maybe they all just have a hand in it. You can't rule any of these possibilities out. But what's happening in our reality is a microcosm to the macro that's running this reality. And so the television's not real, movies aren't real, so our reality's not real to the as above. That's what I believe. And the reason why I believe that, and I'm throwing that out to all of you to perhaps question in your own life, is that why would it be any different for whatever created this reality? Because you see, when suffering is allowed on this planet, there's no logical conclusion that we can come to of why it is allowed. Other than it's just the cycle of life. That's just part of life, the suffering process. No one likes it. But it's a natural position in all of our lives. Yeah, good point, Arthur Dragon. In theater, some have a bigger purpose, like a principal actor. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, why did I mention Tom Brady? He's the record holder of the most Super Bowls. How come he's the guy who got the record? Why was he chosen for that? Why does he have that life path? He's the 10 of diamonds. I showed this. 10 of diamonds. This is Tom Brady's card right here. This one. 10 diamonds. It's called Fortunate Blessings. How come Tom Brady got it? Prince, Michael Jackson, they all got this birth card. How come they got that one? That's listed as Fortunate Blessings. Why did they get those lives? Now, I'm not saying it was easy, but that's why people strive to be like their icons. It's like, oh, I really would love to have the life of a superstar. I want that life. Well, how come these superstars got those lives? Maybe they level up. I saw a comment. Yeah, Scorpion versus Centipede gladiator match. Yeah, exactly. And so I see how I got off topic, but that's it. I watch these and it's like, it's so mean to put these animals or insects in a cage and just let them battle it out. Well, why wouldn't our reality be any different? Let's just throw the humans down here with the reptilians and let them battle it out and see what happens. This will be fun to watch. Oh, I want to watch that show. Why do we binge watch shows, folks? Because they're that good. They captivate us. Do you think the architect is binge watching some of the scenarios we got going on? Folks, there's a reason why the 4 out of the 5 of the top shows ever created are soap operas. Top 5, 4 of them are soap operas. How about that? We're all in a soap opera. Your house, my house. If you live in a family, imagine you had cameras running around. You had you had your own kind of reality show. That's your soap opera. That's your script. Just going through your comments. Josh, thanks for you're right. No salt bridge and a car battery. You're right. I retract that. Yeah, lead chloride, salt and lead. Yeah, no bueno. But you know what I was saying about the salt bridge being tied to the battery, and that's tied to the Christ and all that stuff. You're right. So thanks, Josh, for the correction on that. Jeff Morey, all the world's a stage. Absolutely. I'm going to be including this in my decode of Game of Life, Decoded, and William Shakespeare's in there. I put out a few of these on my social media pages. Some of you saw them. We are living inside of a movie. All the co-creators are experiencing all the experiences all at once. Duality is the lie. I wouldn't agree at all on that. Duality is not a lie because you have 2 lungs, 2 eyes, 2 hands, 2 feet. It's all black and white. You have the dorsal and ventral root in your brains, the left and right hemisphere. That's duality, my dear. J Soul, are sports rigged? 1,000%. They are rigged, but they're not rigged by man. Man's being used. The sports is just another piece of entertainment for the architect or architects. That's why people turn the television on. You watch sports or you play video games, entertainment. And these are archetypes, sports, to keep you dialed in. Because, see, we live inside of a battery. I wish more people would get this concept. We live inside of a battery, and that battery needs to be fed and charged. And what charges the battery is our emotions, negative and positive, anode and cathode, plus or minus, love and fear. And when you look at all you got to do is look at and I have a decode coming out on this. All you got to do is look at the Royal Arch in Freemasonry. I'll tell you all the nuggets in there. And of course, they have the 2 pillars, Boaz and Yachin. That's the positive and negative. Those 2 pillars are tied to the sun and the moon. Those are the positive and negative. And in the very dead center on the dance floor, on the bottom, in between those 2 pillars, is Earth, which is where we all reside. And when you start to study the Trinity of magnetism, electricity, and dielectricity. You have magnetism and electricity, which work with one another. And then you have dielectricity, which is in the very center of it all. And in between, on the dance floor of dielectricity, is the positive and negative getting charged as the current moves through that. And it gets polarized. And that's exactly how we as human beings end up becoming. We become polarized by the sun. As the sun gives its energy to the moon, and we're on the dance floor, we get polarized. It activates our negative and positive, our ego, our spirit. It activates both of those, our good and bad sides. Polarization. I'm saying duality like good and bad. Good and bad are just, they're just words that we use to describe things. So there is nothing good or bad per se. Everything just is, but we have labeled it as such. Emerald saying, as long as you believe in self-identification, there is duality. If the idea of a self is gone, there is only that what is happening. Well, folks, you know, it's very possible that we're shifting out of this 3D reality and we're moving into the 5D reality, which is why the Mandela effect has come into play and all these things are changing and all these glitches that we're seeing is because we're transitioning into a new reality. And, you know, it's also very possible that those that have been destroying the earth, service to self, will just merge into their own fractal and they'll have to stay in this 3D reality that will experience what the ancient texts call the apocalypse or the end of the world or whatever you want to call it. And that's why they've built their little underground bunkers and they're going to go hide in their caves, try to escape all that kind of stuff. So it's very possible that we, as service to others in the world, if you are one of those people, I'm assuming everybody here is more service to others. And this is where the Law of One material by Ra and the three people that channeled that back in the 1980s, great material, the Law of One, which is all about Ra. And it's all about, you know, graduating out of this reality into the new reality, the new 5D reality we may end up moving into. And who the heck knows what that's going to look like? These are all just possibilities, a lot of theories wrapped around this. Really, no one knows for sure, but the Law of One material is very strong stuff. And if you haven't read those books, you should check those out. I really appreciate that information. Oh, I see what you're saying. No God and devil, it's all one. Yeah, it is all one. There are different, I think there's just different layers to that. You know, when you're down here on the dance floor, you end up having love and fear. And I just don't see a way to escape that when you're in this reality. That may change as we shift into another one, but down here in this life, we all have love and fear. Every single one of us. And that is duality. So yeah, God is the devil. It's all one. Absolutely. It's all about realizing that all are one. Self is the lie. Well, self is the identity. I don't think there's a lie. Per se, personally myself, I don't believe in lies. I believe in just truth everywhere, and there are fractals of that. Well, you're welcome to believe what you want. Lower consciousness. I mean, you're stuck in lower consciousness, so I don't know how you get out of that, but yeah, we're all one. Higher consciousness, no fear. Yeah, maybe shifting into 5D reality will allow us to have no fear. Perhaps you're right. But until that happens, we are stuck down here in what you probably would say lower consciousness, and we all have love and fear here. And, the fear is a necessary piece of this reality because it challenges us. Okay. But again, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, this is a game of life we're playing out. The architect's playing out its own life. And it's, when you really look at the incarnation process and becoming man and through physicalness, you end up starting at something that we don't really know. We can theorize on what that means or what it looks like, but all we know is our physical reality, or what it appears to be physical. And it's possible that the architect that's playing us all out, that comes down here, doesn't know what it's going to get. And when it comes down here, it becomes fearful of things because it has to experience things it's never experienced before. Shawbrinks, I've been saying this now. Of course, I know that with the architect. And again, it's just tough because you can't really converse with people on here the way I'd like to. Yes, Shawbrinks, I know it's you. I've been saying this. I said it in my last decode, and I've said it in several decodes. We are the architect. I get that. It's pretty common sense now. But thank you for your comments. Dolores Cannon's great. And again, folks, this is all theoretical. Like, why are we here? What's the point of us being here? These are questions that are just impossible to answer. There's really no way. It's not like a 1 + 1 = 2. We know it's 2. We just don't know why we're here. We don't. A lot of theories around that, but we do not know why we're here. Oh, yeah, okay. So that's the thing, I mean, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, everything that me personally, that I decode is in this reality, which appears to be the 3D reality. Neil Tyson says there is actually a fourth dimension to this reality. This is kind of interesting when you start to bring that into all this. Changes a lot of the parameters. Okay, I'm looking through some of your comments. All right, let me see if I can take some calls. Let me pop the number up. I'm not going to go as long tonight because my screen's not working right. I can't pull any cards. I wanted to do this card stack. Can't do that. It's kind of a disaster using this green screen tonight. I may go back to something else. I don't know. I got to figure it out. All right. Oh, so J Soul, are sports rigged, or is it the universe script, or is it both? Well, you could say it's both, right? Sports are completely scripted and rigged, and they're not. It may seem like that mankind is rigging the sports, but mankind's mind is not its own. The all-seeing eye inside your brain, that's the receiving station that we all take our orders from, and that is, I call it it. That's your identity, and right now, the little voice in your head that's talking, that is what controls you. So anybody that kind of is in sports and has to go out there and, and perform in the field or is in the world of gambling. It's a big contradiction because it's like, no, they're going to just throw the game. The referee's going to do this and that. But see, their mind's not, they're just either taking orders or their mind's not their own and they're being controlled indirectly or directly. So it's a lot of moving parts and a lot of layers, but ultimately the reason why you're seeing all these games coming out with the scores and the dates, I broke down the last Super Bowl, clearly you can see that mankind's not scripting sports because it's just way too many moving parts. And the more you start to break down sports, you realize that there would have to be way too many people involved in the big conspiracy to try to pull the wool over your eyes and thinking it's some organization that's doing anything, and it's not. These organizations are being completely owned and operated by the puppet master, aka the architect or architects that are running all sports. And again, everything's theater, folks. It's all theater. It is all theater, folks. All of it. Our reality. It's all theater. Eric saying at Saturn, Jupiter, Psycho. Yeah, manipulation by controllers. Yeah. So even if right now, folks, I'm working on decoding the worst mass shooting in history, which was the Route 91 massacre in Las Vegas on October 1st, 2017. And that entire event that went down was completely scripted. And there were so many pieces and moving parts that to say that man could be orchestrating all that would be absolutely ludicrous thinking. I mean, if you go look at, Stephen Paddock had 2 room numbers. When you break down the room numbers, it's scripted. From the time the shooting started was scripted. How many people lost their lives, the address, the latitude, longitude, the card of Stephen Paddock, his birthday. It's all scripted. I mean, he was born, I think, as April 9th, which is 49. That's down in a hole. If you have seen my decode on down in a hole, that's 49. 49th card in the medicine deck's the salmon card because we're all fish down here in the hole. Hole is duality, the ring of fire. Stephen Paddock has the Jack of Diamonds card. I'm sorry, the Queen Diamonds card. I think it was the Queen. Yeah, he's the Queen Diamonds, which is the Manchurian Candidate card. When you do the time cycles and the timestamps, when you do the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence, when you do 161 days on the calendar from October 1st and you go forwards and backwards, there's synchronicities in there. There would be so many things that mankind would have to actually get right. It would be absolutely insane thinking to believe that mankind is actually running any of this kind of stuff. All right, we have a phone call coming in. Oh, it's a Mexican number too. +52, go ahead.
Hey, Logan.
Yeah, who's this?
This is Eddie Eduardo from Mexico City.
What's up, Eddie from Mexico City? What's going on, my friend?
Well, I thought I'd give you a call tonight and share some thoughts. First, I wanted to ask you how you doing with your fear of the dark and the Temazcal, bro.
I haven't been back, but there's a lot of reasons why beyond the whole fear thing that I experience of why I haven't gone back, which I'm not going to get into now. But yeah, but it's a very interesting observation of mine, and I haven't really grasped it fully yet. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I wish you the best with that, and maybe you can come back next, I guess, by Santos's lives you guys been going on Saturdays, huh?
To the Temazcal? It's on for Temazcal?
Yeah.
No, actually, those
Saturday,
are done. Right? Yeah, those are done on Sundays at 12 noon, I think it is. Is anybody that wants
celebrate the sun?
Yeah, on Sundays at 12. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about tonight a time when there wasn't a moon. A lot of writers and great thinkers have talked about this, and I wonder how that ties into your research. And well, I remember I'm 42, and I remember I first started reading Sitchin
Mhm.
about the Nunnakis and all this thought about how they came and they started mining for gold. But I think it ties in a little bit to your research and some other. This guy called Sharon Last. He's been doing some great work, and he talks about how these gods, these he calls them false gods. They they're mining us for our gold in an energetic way, like you say. But he says that they brought the moon over as a Trojan horse, and like I wonder what you think about that. Just maybe bounce some ideas off you.
Well, when you do the numerology of Zachariah Sitchin, it equals 47, which is a direct match of the Tetragrammaton. His really good friend Jordan Maxwell equals 47 as well. And Jordan Maxwell was an ex-Jehovah's Witness as well. So it gets really complicated. Anunnaki's 26 in numerology, which is a direct match of the God. It's direct match of the element iron. And I spoke about that earlier of the Yod-He Vah-He being born, so to speak, in the Bronze and Iron Age. And of course, iron is the Fe, which is Ferum, and that could be standing for female, right? So the Anunnaki are just another part of the story, and then you're just going to go. It seems you're just going to go even farther back beyond the dynasties of Rome and even ancient Egypt. You get into the Phoenician and the Sumerians, and then you get into Enki and Enlil, and those are really linked to Prometheus and his brother as well, who stole fire and gave it to humans. So are these stories of the Anunnaki, are they just regurgitations of, a story being told, and then it goes from culture to culture, but the story is pretty much the same thing? It really, the meaning of it is all the same thing. And as far as like the moon being brought here as a Trojan horse, it's possible. I just, from the nature's trinity and what I showed through the incarnation, reincarnation process, that's what I think is the reason why the moon is the Earth's natural satellite. And I think it's part of that trinity where the sun gives to the moon gives to Earth, and it just forms that never-ending loop, which is what we're all stuck in. It seems to be that way.
So yeah, what I am kind of harking at is our duality, right? We've got two lungs, two eyes, and before we had two suns, and how the belief about the dying or the dying sun, the the black sun, and how that how that ties into the moon being brought in and being artificial.
Sure. Well, I mean, it's possible, but I mean, can you imagine what kind of power something would have to be to create that moon when you really study the moon? And of course, I'm a huge fan of astrology and watching natal charts. I'm a huge fan of astronomy and watching how the moon is perfectly patterned in its cycles with the 13 and the 28 and all these lunar mansions and all that stuff. I find it really hard to believe that a group of individuals could harness that kind of energy and bring it here and have it perfectly put into place to have all these cycles be wrapped around the moon and all that kind of stuff. So it is possible, Eddie, no doubt about it. I don't take anything away from these possibilities, but then we have to support these possibilities with some kind of logic. And it would be tough for me to I've looked into these, I've heard this before, but it sounds like you have a lot more knowledge in these areas than I do. But I don't take anything away from these possibilities. It's just really tough for me to digest because of how the cosmos works with the astronomy.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to a time when we can talk in person. I've been thinking a lot about moving to Belize, and
Nice
I lived in
choice.
for a while, and it's right in the map. Puerto Morelos is just hip. How do you guys say it? Hop and a skip or what?
Hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah, away. So
Yeah.
yeah, I look forward to that.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's definitely. I mean, I'm here for a 6 month tour. I don't know what's going to happen beyond that. I'm here till December or January, and I mean, I don't know if I'm going to stay here, if I'm going to go somewhere else. I just don't know. I just kind of roll by the seat of my pants. So, if you or anybody else feels the itch to come down and just be part of what we're doing, maybe just come down on vacation. Come down. I'm around. I spend a lot of time in town. I really haven't done much outside of town right now. I'm 2 blocks from the ocean, so I'm taking full advantage of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So can you humor me with a card tonight, Logan?
Yeah, man. What do you want? A card of illumination? You want a tarot card? What kind of, or you
Tarot
want a
card.
meta? Tarot?
Tarot card.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You got that, man. Do you have a specific question, or do you just want me to say what's the most important thing for you to focus on in your life right now?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay,
I
cool.
love that question.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's pretty easy peasy and it gets right to the point. So we're gonna pull a card right from the middle of the deck if that's okay with you, and let's see
Awesome.
what we can come up with here for you. Well, you got the Ten of Wands, and I'm just really reluctant to, and it's like an invisible Ten of Wands. It's so cool with the green screen, but the character showing up. It's actually pretty interesting. But there's the Ten of Wands. I actually like this with a transparent background. But there's the Ten of Wands, and this card right here is all about taking the world upon your shoulders and having a very heavy responsibility in your life. So does that resonate with you? Like you got a lot of things going on in your life right now that you really feel like a lot of pressures on you?
Yeah, it sounds about right. It really reminds me of the last card you pulled for me,
Which was
which
what?
was the Two of Wands.
The indecision card, impartiality. Were you at that
Yeah,
point where you were not making some
I
decisions, or
was
you're
at,
at a standstill?
I was at that point. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was at that point.
Yeah. So I mean, the Ten of Wands is the Ten of Clubs, which is the 23rd card in the deck, and that's tied to the word crown, blood, and history. And of course, when you synchronize crown, blood, and history, you can imagine how much pressure these titles have as an archetype in our world when it comes to the ideas. So that card is very fitting with the 23rd card in the deck of the cards of illumination, and it being having to take the responsibility of the world and putting it on your shoulders. So the best thing to do right here for you is really analyze all that's going on in your life and make decisions on what you feel is going to be your best strategy moving forward.
Hmm. Yeah, funny you should mention the 23rd card. Last show you did, I asked you via the chat about the medicine cards, and you just like randomly pulled a card that just showed me something, and it was the 23rd card, and I was asking you about like the cards, medicine cards. I don't know much about them, and that happened to be my spirit animal,
The opossum.
the possum. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's my birthday, the 23rd. October. I'm a Scorpio, a Libra rising and a Scorpio, like you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. So
Yeah.
you want to, you definitely want to check out your Vedic charts as well, because those are, they're so accurate as well. I'm a huge fan of the Vedic system or the sidereal. Because you may be another rising sign. Like I'm Scorpio rising in the Western, but I'm Libra rising in the Vedic system. And there are truths in both of those, because I'm definitely both those characters. So,
Right.
yeah. But thanks for calling in, man. I appreciate it. It was great to hear from you. And I hope to meet you soon here in Mexico before I leave on this tour, or maybe I'll stay for another 6 months. I don't even know yet.
I appreciate you as well.
Yeah. Thanks so very much, man. Much love to you.
Have a good night.
You too, brother. All right, man. So there we go. Mexico City in the house. Who's next? Who's going to call in? Someone who hasn't called in before. The phone number that I have up on the screen is a WhatsApp phone number, or actually it's WhatsApp, Telegram, or Signal. You can catch me on either one of those three platforms. So if you're not a WhatsApp person, I just had the WhatsApp up there as a graphic and it was easy to put up there. But if you're a Telegram or a Signal person. Oh, here we go. 631 in the house. 631 area code. Go ahead.
What's going on, my man Logan? It's my name's Andrew Cantor, and I'm from Long Island, New York.
Andrew, nice to have you. Long Island, New York in the house. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you on this fine night?
Fantastic on this Saturn day. Almost moving into the Sunday, unless it's you're already in the Sunday mode because you're on the East Coast. So
Yep, 7-Eleven.
Yeah, man. Nice.
Yep.
So what brings you on tonight, man? What do you want to talk about? You have a question? You want to talk about something you found?
Yeah, so I have this person in my life, this girl. So I just graduated high school, but this
Congrats.
girl keeps coming up in my life, man. Like I'm trying to get away from her, but she keeps always popping up. And like I watched her last decode, and I looked up my birthday and her birthday, and our birthday is 222 days away, and I always see the number 22 in my like always in my life. I just see the number 22.
Yeah.
And it's the 20 number. So I'm born on 12/27/2002, and I always see the number 22. And all of a sudden, I just get bored one day. I look up a bunch of people's birthdays, and just her birthday stands out. We're a bunch of 22 days away, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, the synchronized. You just got to keep pushing and keep decoding, because these people that are showing up in your life and my life, and people that are resonating with this message, if you have people that keep showing up in your life, they're part of your script, and they're supposed to show up in your life. It's just a matter of, do you want to entertain that? They could be, and this is all theoretical, right? But they could be from your past life, and they're in the tail end of being in this life, and your life is like, well, you're going to entertain that area, and you're going to have this person part of your life, right? And you just got to keep digging, Andrew.
Yeah. So like I met this girl like sophomore year. She was like all quiet or whatever, and I don't know, like I was like attracted to her, and I started talking to her, and all of a sudden I thought this girl was like the one, you know, like how you be like young and like dumb or whatever. So I thought this girl was like the one, or whatever. I was being young and stupid.
Yep.
But then like she like fell out of love with me and like started talking to other guys, and I was like heartbroken for forever. But then so like we go on our separate paths for like junior year, and all of a sudden like senior year comes around, I start going to the gym, and I see her at the gym, and I'm like, no, I'm not trying to see this girl. I'm trying to like get away from her. All of a sudden we start talking again, like on the phone, and like we become friends again, really close.
Okay.
And then I'm just trying to like figure out like what this means. Maybe we can like pull like a tarot card or something like that.
Yeah, of course I can.
Like,
I mean, if you have a specific question, but just remember, this girl is in your life for a very specific reason, obviously. I mean, if you're having to ask about this, and if you're resonating with this message, if you're having to ask about somebody in your life, well, then there's a deeper meaning to that. It's not just like meeting somebody and then at a coffee shop, and then you may bump into them again, but there's really no kind of chemistry. But if you have chemistry with somebody, well, there's something to that. There's definitely going to be There's definitely going to be something to that.
Yeah, like I have a connection to her. Like she's like a little spiritual too. Like she's a Leo, I'm a Capricorn. Like she knows like when like her time we're born. She'd be looking at like stuff up and stuff. And like I'm into like that spiritual stuff too. So like that's like our connection too.
Nice.
So we connect. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, Capricorn and Leo are interesting because Leo's ruled by the sun, and Capricorn's ruled by Saturn, which is kind of the nemesis of the sun. And so you have this major contrast from on the surface. Now, I'm not saying there's deeper meanings than what I'm showing you here or saying here, but you know, you being a Capricorn, her being a Leo, those are basically two opposite ends of the spectrum. But of course, opposites attract. And perhaps you guys came into this life together to kind of look at one another, and you're kind of looking in the mirror, right? So anyway, so do you have a specific question, Andrew, or do you just want me to pull it up regarding you and this female friend of yours?
Would I be like, what's her purpose in my life? Is that a good question? Or
what's her? Okay, yeah. What's her name? Can you mention her name or no? You don't have to.
Her name is Paige.
Paige. Okay, so Andrew and Paige. What's the connection of Andrew and Paige? Let's pull a card for you.
Yeah.
Well, the card you got, and we're gonna get into the transparency of this. So I actually kind of like this. So this is the Eight of Cups. And this card is, you'll notice there's a figure on here dressed in red, and it's got its back turned, and there's all these cups that it's walking away from. And this card is always relating to a spiritual journey. going on a spiritual journey, looking for more to life. And so you're kind of walking away from what's going on in your life, and you're coming together and you're going on a spirit. So it sounds like you both are on some kind of spiritual journey right now, trying to find yourself. And of course, you're young. You just got out of high school, or you graduated. You just did, or?
Yeah, we just said in June. So
okay, cool.
1 month out.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys are young. Yeah, so it's clearly, what do you guys have in common? Well, it seems like you guys are both on a spiritual journey right now. You're trying to get yourselves set into place, and I think this is a crucial time for all of us as humanity goes forward into this perhaps new age and new dimension, and going on these spiritual quests is very important for all of us. And this, by the way, is tied to the Greek mythology of Prometheus, which stole fire from the gods and gave it to the humans. And that's obviously going on a spiritual journey and actually starting something brand new. So Andrew, if you resonate with this card and you feel like you want to know more, you just go to your favorite search engine and type in Eight of Cups, Truly Teach Me Tarot, and you'll be able to find the very first link that you get. You're going to find the website, and you go into that and read in there and see what you can find. Okay?
Yeah.
All right,
man.
brother.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Yeah, man.
All the best. Okay,
Yeah,
Andrew.
too.
All right, brother.
Yeah, man. Take care.
Take care.
Yeah.
Daniel, go ahead.
Hello.
What's up, brother?
How we doing, big man?
Fantastic. You're on the air with who knows how many viewers right now, but it'll be in the thousands once this thing goes recorded.
Oh yeah, I'm watching.
Nice, dude. Nice. What's going?
Absolutely, you guys. Great show today, man.
Thanks, brother.
Really interesting, really enlightening.
Thanks, brother.
So, as you know, my friend, we have big things on our horizon. A lot of things coming our way. So I was hoping you can pull a card.
Of course, dude. So for those of you that don't know who this voice is, this is Daniel, who is Santos's partner in the Syncretism Society, who just lives. Daniel, what do we find? Like a 3-minute car ride from my house to yours?
Exactly.
On the same, well, not on the same street, but I'm right off of his street. So, but anyway.
Yeah, all of Puerto Morelos is on the same street.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically.
All right, so we're going to pull one card, and it's going to be for the Syncretism Society. Is that fair on what you're looking at for the months to come? Is that what you kind of want to narrow it down to?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
So let's pull a card for this. Yeah, and let's give a lot of love to the Syncretism Society because, like him or not, with Santos he's a man of great wisdom, and Danny's got a great mentor, and Danny's mentoring Santos in a lot of ways. So they're doing some great things here in Puerto, and I'm just fortunate to be part of that. So let's pull a card for Danny and Santos and the Syncretism Society and see what we're looking at, brother. Let's see what we got here. So we're going to pull right from the middle of the deck.
Let's do it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, man. So you got what's really interesting is today is the, I think, is it the 14th card? I have to look again. But anyway, the card you pulled is the Temperance card. And this is the 14th card in the deck. And this is the card of our reality as a whole, because 14 is pi, 3.14. So this is the 14th card tied to pi itself. And we're living in pi, creating pi through our emotions. This card is the angel of great balance. And this angel is telling you that everything will be grand for the Syncretism Society as long as you are able to balance everything out as you move forward and create this academy. And if you do not have the balance, that's of course when things can get a little bit testy, so to speak. So you have the angel that is the gateway to the heavens on your side, brother, pouring the water from both chalices, saying that, hey, we got you covered as long as you keep your energies in complete balance. And it's a very fitting card, especially what you guys are doing. So that's a big push. It's a big push for you, brother.
Wonderful.
Yeah, man.
It's good to see. It's good to see that the gods are with us.
Oh, of course.
As long as we keep the path.
Keep the path, keep balanced, and you'll be good to go, bro. And you know, I got you guys' support. And I got to give you a full reading anyway, brother. At least I haven't even offered that to you since. I mean, you know, we take things for granted, right? Because you're always here. But anyways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you've been tied, and I've been tied up with many things. You're just, you're settling in, and
yep.
So don't worry, we'll get to that for sure.
Yeah, make no mistake about it. All right, brother.
You probably got more people calling in.
I do, man. I have another call.
My friend.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Yeah. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. All right. Thanks, Danny. Have a good night.
Yeah.
248, go ahead.
Hey, Logan, how's it going?
Good, man. Who's this?
This is Jay Sal. My first name is Josh. We've actually we've emailed before.
Oh, nice. Is it, you said Josh?
Yep.
Nice to have you, Josh.
Thank you. Yeah, great show.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate your support and kindness and love and all that stuff. What do you got going on tonight?
Yeah, I'm just chilling, and I'm just thinking about how when you were talking about the sports and everything and the architects, and I'm trying to kind of understand, like, I started decoding in February, and basically I've realized that all the really important dates in my life all sync up completely perfectly and divinely.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really big into date durations, and so I'm kind of wondering, I even had something happen today, and I did the gematria and the date durations on it, and it was literally on the dot, no day included or anything. So I guess my question to you is, like, do we just not have, do we have like no control, but also all control, like, at the same time?
Yeah, that's a great question, Josh. Because you see, as I've said so many times, life's a big contradiction. So while we say we have very little control, right? It seems that, like, well, I'm just going to go run to the store and I'm going to prove you wrong and say that I have full control. Or I'm just going to go have pizza tonight and say I have full control, right? That's just you really just trying to be right and have your identity be right and prove others wrong. And it's really all about the identity. So life's just a big contradiction in so many ways, but at the same time, obviously you've seen in these decodes that I've done, and if you're a sports fan, you should be checking out the Super Bowl, the breakdown of the Bucks and the Chiefs. I broke that down, breaking down the death of Jackson.
Yeah, the Vincent Jackson. I watched that one.
Yeah, I mean, those are just a few of many people out there that their lives, Bruce Lee, completely his life was scripted. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have any free will per se. I'm on the fence with a lot of these ideas. Some people believe you have full control of your life. That's great, but there's no way to prove either case, right? I can't prove that you have very little to no free will, but then you can't prove that you do have little to all free will. So it's really a stalemate at that point. But what we can find and discover is our reality is scripted, and it's not scripted by mankind because there are just way too many moving parts. So man, as maybe you've heard me say, man is just following the blueprint. And the blueprint was created by energies outside of us. And there's really no other way to describe what we're finding in the decoding world. So welcome to the decoding world, Josh. It's a real fun thing to get into, especially decoding your life. If you haven't watched How to Decode Yourself, that video, it's one of my most viewed videos, like 16, 17,000 people have watched it. And I'm coming out with another one. And it's going to be more in depth on how to really dial in your life and how to decode yourself. But you should be decoding everything about yourself: the latitude, longitude of where you were born, the city you were born in, the hospital you were born in, what time your birth was, the first residence you were born into, the address, and breaking that down in numerology. All these layers are part of your script, Josh. And the more you know about yourself, the better experiences you're going to have, because then you can start to see these patterns and you realize, oh my God, that was supposed to happen. This person was supposed to come into my life. And it just makes things so much easier, because then you're just willing to accept your code. And you don't have to get angry at people for them showing up with their code, because you know they're just living out their code. Right? And so there's no forcing anymore, especially in partnerships. When you study your partner, I mean, are you single or are you with somebody?
I'm single. I'm kind of talking to someone though.
Nice. Okay, cool. So, I mean, you should be decoding that person because you want to know. It's like a cheat sheet. You get to know
I did,
exactly. Yeah, you get to know exactly who that person is before they even tell you, because they're not going to tell you. They're gonna tell you, yeah, I like animals and I like to go to the movies and they'll tell you all the surface crap, but not the deep down stuff that astrology, numerology, and life paths and all these things that are going to tell you. So it's kind of a cheat sheet, and then you get to see exactly who that person is before you really want to start, because dating's expensive, and it's time. It takes time. So, but eventually you realize that everybody is in your life for a very specific reason, especially those that we end up becoming really fond of and close to.
Yeah, I looked into so I need to definitely jump into those other facets. I feel like I looked into the date durations of when we first started communicating, like the very first date.
Uh-huh.
And and it was pretty crazy. And I looked into our date of birth to date of birth, and then like how we met, then the date duration with that, and it linked up. Literally, it was just complete insanity. And then I looked into the gematria as well, and I actually started using Chaldean thanks to you.
Nice.
Yeah, I pretty much just use the 4 base, and then the 3 Jewish ones, the Chaldean, and then I use Satanic and English Extended,
Uh-huh.
and then the reverse of those 2. But nonetheless, I saw my birth date. It can be written, one way or the other, whether it's you're in a different part of the world. But basically, I saw my birth date in her. I think might have been in her name, gematria. It was just something really insane. So, nonetheless, or maybe the date gematria of that day. But so it put me at ease because I was wondering. There was something really big, about, I don't know, are you allowed to talk about like the hoax kind of thing that's going on?
Talk about whatever you want. Just be kind of like selective on your words if you can. Oh, we got disconnected a little. Let's see if he comes back. Just as he said that, and then I said something else, we got disconnected. Oh, maybe my internet's... Oh, that could be. Let's see. I think my internet went down, but let's see. Hang on, folks. I don't even know if I'm even live anymore. My thing's spinning here. I lost Josh. And I'm checking, folks. I'm checking. All right, I think I'm up again. I'm waiting to come back on, folks. I don't know if I'm spinning or not, folks. Let's see if I can. Restarting my browser here, folks. I'm going to see if I can jump back on. I don't know if I lost all of you. Hang on a second. A little delay. Trying to connect. Can you guys hear me? You can hear me, but you can't see me. Can you guys see me? Because I can't see myself. Okay. All right, as long as you guys can see me. That's all that matters. All right, yeah, well, I guess we weren't supposed to talk about that topic. All right, I think this is him calling in again. Josh, how you doing, brother? Sorry about that. We got cut off.
Oh, I think it was the universe telling me not to talk about
That's
that.
what everybody's saying.
Stuff.
That's what everybody's saying in the chat box.
and that's okay. I don't have to go there. But
yeah,
thanks for taking my call again.
Yeah, no problem, dude. No problem.
Yeah, so I did all the the day durations, gematria, and it looked really, really good. So
cool.
I'm just basically I'm working to being as present as possible.
Right.
Basically, kind of some of the people in the chat were talking about like dissolving the self, and I'm not sure I'm into that necessarily, but just being as present as possible to where you're pretty much doing that. So it's kind of the same thing.
Just get what's on my shirt, bro. Become a gratitude junkie, and that makes you live in the now moment, because you're forced to really give gratitude to everything in your life and just be thankful that you wake up and you have a life to live and you got legs to walk and senses to feel and emotions to go through that and all that kind of stuff. And when you become a gratitude junkie, you're just essentially giving thanks to your entire life. And I think everything in life wants to be acknowledged, just like we do, right? So it's a great way. It's a great way to live, is to really acknowledge everything. I was mentioning this earlier, and I've mentioned it on other transmissions, where when you're brushing your teeth, if you're in the now moment, you should be giving thanks to your teeth as you're brushing them and saying thank you to them for all the food they've chewed over all these years, right? Because your teeth are alive. I mean, they're alive. If you put them under a microscope, they're not what they appear to be from what we can see with our own two eyes. But they're alive. They may not be able to think like us, but they want to get recognition as well. And I think that's our entire cosmos. It just wants recognition. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Is there anything that you're working on personally? I don't know if you already said this, but I that's just something I'm curious of.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What am I working on? Is it something I personally?
Yeah, like any type of development in which, something you're digging into more.
Oh man, I have so many different topics, so I really couldn't. I could just give you. I have the Game of Life coming out. I have the movie Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween. I have that decode coming out show, and that was completely scripted. All the actors in that movie, the dates, the reason why it was named Michael Myers, all these kinds of ideas and things like that. I got cryptocurrency decoded coming out, which I know a lot of people are heavily ready to see. But these are just some of the constructs that I'm kind of diving into, and then I'm constantly decoding myself. I'm still looking at a lot of these different concepts that I'm bringing into play. And here's a suggestion for you, Josh. And I got some more calls coming in, so I'm gonna say thank you for calling in, and I'm gonna take the rest of it off air and just kind of fill you in a little bit more, if that's okay. But thanks for calling in, and much love to you wherever you're at, and just keep decoding yourself, my brother, and you'll find more keys to your kingdom. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, brother. All right, so there we go. We have Josh that called in, and folks, the key to this whole thing really is so many different layers on a synchronicity level. And one of the things that you can do with your life is to do the golden ratio in your life, to where, you take your birthday and you go 161 days into the future, and then you take 161 days and you go into your past on the calendar. And I believe these create what you would call a golden Fibonacci spiral, and that golden Fibonacci spiral may in fact lead you to some major events in your life, perhaps a partner, maybe a soulmate, maybe a twin flame, all these ideas that we construct as human beings. So I'm going to suggest, especially with this 161 days, which is 1.61, which is the golden ratio, the equation of that, take your birthday and then go 161 days from the day on the calendar into the future on the calendar. If you're born in May, you go June, July, August, September, around 5 months. You go into October, and you would just go to timeanddate.com, and that website has a date-to-date calculator, and you can find the 161 on the calendar from the day of birth that you have. And then you want to go and find the card that's associated with that day that you find on the calendar, and then find out what your card is. And if you put the two cards together, like let's say you're the 6 of clubs, which is the 19th card in the deck, and then you find out 161 days from you is the 8 of clubs. Well, this is the 21st card in the deck. So 21 plus 19 is going to give you a different number, a compound number, and that's going to give you the number 40. And that number right there ends up leading to the Ace Spades card. And then that Ace Spades card could be a card or a number. The 40 is tied to zirconium, and there are many layers to that. So we just got to keep digging into your life and find the numbers that are going to give you patterns in your life. Because again, it's all symbols and numbers that are coded into this reality. And the more you dig, the more you find out about who you are and why you're here. All right, let's take another phone call. 206, go ahead. Oh, we missed that call. All right. But anyway, folks, if you have a phone call that you have a topic you want to talk about, let's get you on the air. Let's go to some of these comments. Folks, let me just tell you something. Let's just talk about that idea. That big idea on the world stage. There's a reason why is it 19? And is man behind this whole thing? Well, as you can see, everything is scripted by the architect. So guess who's running that whole 19 thing? I know some of you say, oh no, it's not possible. Man's doing it. Nope. Man's not doing it. Man is just fulfilling the blueprint. And of course, there are things in our reality that we just don't see. There are things in our reality that are orchestrated and playing out that we don't pay any attention to. And then when you leave out, when you make a cake, when you bake, those of you that are bakers, when you bake a cake and you make a chocolate cake or angel food cake or whatever, and you leave out an ingredient, if it's not an essential ingredient, you could still make the cake, but it's not going to be a full invested cake, but it's still going to be a cake. And I feel that's what's going on in our reality. There are things in our reality that we just don't understand, and I don't think we ever will. especially when observing nature and the cosmos. There are things in the cosmos that I don't think human beings will ever understand. And so when we have missing layers that we cannot fully grasp, we are making a cake with missing ingredients. And the cake's going to come out a cake, but it's not really a full cake. So when you use that analogy and you realize that our entire reality has a lot of moving parts to it, and if you're not including every single moving part, you're missing parts, it can't be a whole component of the cosmos. We're missing pieces. You know, it's kind of like when you get into nutrition and you get into the nutrients of what the body needs, remembering that, you know, in the world of nutrition, every single day your body needs about 90 or so nutrients, your 16 vitamins, your minerals, your omegas. If you are somebody who misses, like if you don't take a specific vitamin every day, if you are mineral deficient in something, guess what happens to the body? It will start to decay faster. It will not regenerate as fast or as good. It will not be able to regenerate in a complete fashion. And that's how autoimmune diseases end up getting incorporated in people's lives. That's how we end up getting many diseases when the body's not operating at a full homeostasis layer or level. And so you must be able to take the full spectrum of the vitamins and minerals to make sure that you're checking off the list. I mean, when I was doing nutrition counseling, one of the very first things that I would make people do is I want to know, first you got to check your blood. You got to do a blood panel. I got to know what's going on inside the blood. But then you sit down and you figure out, are you taking all the vitamins? Are you getting all the minerals? How can you diagnose some kind of illness or sickness that you have without figuring out first, well, okay, I'm not taking a multivitamin, and you're probably a creature of habit. So if you're not taking a multivitamin, you can't check that off the list. So why would you go diagnose something that you have without making sure that you check off the list that you're taking all the vitamins in the spectrum of the vitamins? Making sure that you check that off the list first, and then give that some time, and maybe whatever's going on with your body, that will end when you end up checking that off the list. Once you check that off the list and you go through some time and then you still don't get better, well, then you start to address and go into a diagnosis in a different mannerism. And I think that's exactly how life is with the cosmos as well when we're trying to figure it all out. You need to check off the basics first. And then you get into the detailed things. And as I said, I think there are a lot of things that are missing in the definitions of our cosmos. I think there's a lot of things missing. When we start to theorize and break down the cosmos and break down how our reality works, do we have all the components in the front of us? Do we have all the knowledge of how the machinations of this entire cosmos works before we start to make a definitive on our theories? Can we honestly say that? And the answer would be, for all of us, absolutely not. It's not possible. 1 + 1 = 2. That's possible. But when you're getting out there trying to define the patterns of the sun and the moon and how things work, can you honestly and authentically say you have all the moving parts of how the machinations are and how they work? Well, that would be impossible to say yes, because that would be not really authentic in saying that. All right, so let's get into some of your comments. I've kind of been out of sync. Is my transmission coming through clear, ladies and gentlemen? It looks like I'm really blurry. So can somebody give me some feedback on that? What's up, Adam? Thank you for the comments. Yeah, folks, your cell salts. Santos has them on his website, Universal Truth School. Santos, you should go on there and get your cell salts. All right. 206, go ahead.
And of course, there are things in our reality that we just...
Hello.
Logan.
Hey, what's up? Can you just turn down your background noise because it's coming through and there's a lag, as you know.
I'm trying.
Yeah. What's going on?
Oh, not a lot. I did have a question,
Uh-huh.
and then I wanted you to pull me a card.
Okay.
Okay. I'm trying to make an appointment with Tian,
Uh-huh.
and so, can I do 31? I know I can do 31 or the 13th,
Uh-huh.
but can I use like my name, which comes out to 66 as a 12? Or
Yeah.
can I just
Listen, here's my answer to that. So what Christine's asking is she wants to book a reading with somebody to do her Akashic Records, TN, which you've seen that podcast, and she wants to selectively choose the date as to when she gets her reading. Is that correct, Christine?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I can tell all of you this, right? There are no right or wrongs, and there is no mistakes or accidents in life. Everything happens for a very specific reason. So you can't go wrong on the day you choose. Becoming consciously aware of the numbers and the patterns, of course, gives you a little bit of an advantage because then you can go on your power numbers and power days. The 31st, obviously, Christine, because you were born on the 31st, that would be your primary day to actually get your reading done. I would personally do it on the 31st because that's the day you were born and you're talking about reading your Akashic Records. So I would definitely try to book it on the 31st if you can. And you're coming up towards the end of the month. Maybe TN can accommodate you on July 31st. Is there a 31st in July? I don't remember. Yeah, there's a 31st in July. Yeah. So maybe you want to book it on July 31st.
Well, she's pretty far booked out, but she has October 31st.
Oh, well, then book that one. If you resonate
Yeah.
with it. I mean, listen, if you want to get it done quicker, if you're really antsy about it, then obviously you can adjust and look at other dates. I mean, 6 is a big number for you because you got the master number 33. So it's a 6. You got the 66. There's a 6. So maybe you might want to do it on the 6 as well. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you resonate with what Christine's asking, just remember that you have numbers that are going to be tied to you that are your power numbers. Like myself, I was born on the 4th. So when you look at the dial pad or your calculator, well, the 1, the 4, and the 7 are all in succession running north to south, but then the 4, 5, and 6 are in succession as well. So you really can't go wrong with either of those numbers. Christine, you're born on the 31st, so you have the 3. I like to keep numbers in their authentic expressions. So 31, I know it reduces to a 4, but it really is authentically the 3 and the 1. So you really can't go wrong with either one of those days as well, 3 or 1.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
So will you pull me a medicine card?
Yeah, of course. I already had the deck in my head, been shuffling it since you called because I knew that's what you'd want. So, all right. So,
What if I surprised you?
yeah, you ain't gonna ever surprise. You're pretty easy. You're like a creature of habit, you. So, well, you got the butterfly. Look how cool this is with the green screen. It gives everything transparent. I think it's really cool. I'm digging this part of the show, but the see-through cards. That's what a green screen does, folks. It just it makes things really cool. But you got the butterfly, Christine, which, as you know,
That's cool.
yeah, which, as you know, is transmutation.
Yeah.
So maybe a big shift, a big change coming your way in life.
I don't think so.
Well,
I have put my house on hold for sale because the neighbors are balking about fixing their wall, and the blocks that they have double stacked and sometimes 3 stacked high. They each weigh 2,200 pounds. And if it goes like,
well, maybe the big transmutation is you not leaving Mercer Island and staying there.
that could be, because I'm really beginning to enjoy it.
There you go. That's all that matters.
I mean, I've always enjoyed it, but now it's like, okay, there's a lot to be said for this.
Well, there you go. Never say never. Never say never and focus on that butterfly card. Go read it in the book. You got the book. You know what to do. I don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right,
Exactly.
Christine.
But can you put in the chat box or something the 161?
What do you mean?
Like the golden spiral.
What about
for
it?
your birth. Like my birthday is the 31st, 161 days before.
And after?
Yeah, and after. But I keep missing the website.
It's just timeanddate.com. Here, I'll put it in there for you.
Timeanddate.com.
Timeanddate.com, yeah. Timeanddate.com. And when you go in there, you scroll down and it says date-to-date calculator.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All the best to you up there in Mercer Island.
Oh, thank you.
All right. We'll see you.
Have a grand evening.
Thanks, Christine. See you
Bye-bye.
next time. All right. So there you go. You're talking to a Master Life Path 33, Christine. I did a reading. I was fortunate to do a reading for her. It's probably been a few years ago now. Geez, I've been at it for a while. Kevin Clark, what's up, brother? I'm looking at some of your comments. What's up, Denise? I have an internet. Yeah, folks, if you're somebody who I don't do this, just so I'll be really crystal clear. I don't do readings every day. I'm very sporadic on my readings, and they come in spurts. Then I have a dry spell, and I'm totally fine with that because my primary focus is on decoding reality and pumping these videos out. And the readings, of course, help support what I'm doing. And then they give you your keys to your kingdom. So it's a win-win situation. And as most of you know, I don't monetize my channel. YouTube, I know it's a business, but they take, I turn the super chat off. They take 30% of that. So I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore. So forget all that. And then I don't monetize my channel because I can't stand watching something really interesting and then all of a sudden a damn commercial comes on and interrupts it. It pisses me off. So I shut the monetize every time. All the videos you'll notice you'll see there's no commercials there. There may end up becoming some based upon some of the music that I choose because they own the rights to this music, and then they can maybe end up monetizing it in some way, shape, or form down the line. But I don't monetize any of this stuff because I don't want any of the commercials interrupting some of this information, and it bugs me when I do it. So I'm kind of extending that for all of you. I'm going through some of your comments. Yeah. Oh, so that's what the vodka thing is. No, this is not vodka, folks. This is water. It's a glass bottle, and I like to drink out of glass. I occasionally drink out of plastic, but I like glass, and this is the only glass bottle I can find at the grocery store right here in town in Puerto. So I'd be a champion if I was chugging down straight up vodka. So no, it's it's just water. So we have some great decoders. I'm so privileged. I just want to give a shout out to all of you great decoders out there that are watching this transmission live and even recorded. And those of you that are reaching out, sending me emails, I just want to let all of you know how great you are and how wonderful it is to be a part of your mind and your observations. And I also want to say that if I don't respond to your email, which is probably really rare, send me another one. I mean, I get a lot. And then I just want to let all of you know I'm not a fan of email. It's actually my least favorite mode of communicating because it just takes so long to type. I love to write. I have a blog and I love to write, but to sit there and try to go and communicate with people via email. I mean, I just had somebody that the other day email me asking me if they're going to get married with kids and can you help me decode myself? And I'm like, man, that's just that's a personal reading, really. I mean, those questions. There's so many moving parts when it comes to your personal life with that kind of stuff. So, it's just really challenging sometimes to get some of these emails answered for some people and their questions, because it involves much more than just sending over a reply and putting a few words together in an email sent back to the sender. I'm reading some of your comments. What's up, Ethan Rucker? There's another smart decoder. So this is a really good point, which I can discuss. Ethan saying architect. Now, Ethan likes to use the satanic numerology cipher, which goes off the numbers 36, and it goes in increments from there on up. It's a unique cipher, obviously, and you can find truth in all these ciphers. You just gotta sometimes dig a little bit deeper, because all the numbers eventually are going to lead back to the same origins. But this is a good point. Architect being the same numbers, the word architect being the same outcome as Bill Gates. But you see, Bill Gates has a middle name, and it's Bill Gates the third. And so, when you look at that, you would say, what does this mean? Bill Gates having the same as the architect? Well, first and foremost, Bill Gates is not his full name. So I would just completely X that out and realize as well that some of these are really loosely bound. And again, these are just my opinions, Ethan. I'm not trying to take away from your great decoding efforts, because you definitely have some really good pieces that you've brought to the table. But, I think we have to dive deeper. And that's why, as most of you know, with my methodology, I'm not just somebody who uses numerology, or some like to call it gematria, which it's really numerology, but whatever, you can use whatever words you want. But I'm not just a fan of connecting words to numbers, because those can be easily done with multiple ciphers, or you'll find many names and words and combinations with different ciphers. It's when you start to bring those numbers into pi, which is hell. If you watched my last decode on Ring of Fire, pi is hell, which is what we're all in. And we create pi through the sine and cosine waves of trigonometry, which creates the circle as it moves. And these are patterns in our reality. And the sine and cosine waves are a advanced layer of decoding. And I've shown a few of those. I showed Elvis Presley's timestamp and how his life was completely scripted and rigged using the sine and cosine waves. And this is a advanced layer of decoding. But folks, if you're into this kind of stuff, you should be decoding the sine and cosine waves of all these numbers and figuring out what the breakdown is of these, because it's like an EKG machine, the heartbeat. It's the sine and cosine waves. And of course, cosine is the chaos and order, and the sine wave is the sin wave, and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, some really interesting stuff to kind of discover and think about. All right. Oh, Eric Ruffino. Yeah, I can pull a card for you. Waiting to be reunited with my son. All right, let's see what the tarot says about you and your son. Eric Ruffino, you and your son reunited. See what you get. Well, depending on I don't really do reverse cards, but I ended up pulling it out in reverse, so it's the Hangman. But this typically just the right side up. Look at that, it's the transparent Hangman. This is so cool with the green screen tonight. I may just keep it just because this is so cool. But anyway, the Hangman is, of course, a card of surrendering to new perspectives. And, when it's reversed, obviously it has a different meaning to it. But what's going to be prevalent in your life? Being reunited with your son, maybe you surrendering to some new perspectives. What's coming down the pike for you, Eric Ruffino? Are you having to adjust and move into different areas of your life? And of course, it's the 12th card, the Hangman, which is all about the Piscean age and having to surrender to new perspectives. So what does that mean for you? Well, obviously, if you want to go a little bit further, Eric, you want to go open your favorite search engine, type in the Hangman Truly Teach Me Tarot, and just go study what that website will tell you. It'll be the first link that you'll get off the search on that. The Hangman Truly Teach Me Tarot, and just read through that entire card. There's a lot of meat and potatoes to that card, and really get with what that card's telling you and see if you can find more aspects to what I just said. All right, so I hope that helps. Divine Light Hazel, the closed caption. I don't know. I have it turned on, but I don't know if it's turned on for my lives. I will definitely go check on that. I had thought it was turned on completely, but I think the closed caption is turned on for my videos, period. So when they get rendered, when they get uploaded, the closed caption usually takes a day or two for it to kick in, and then those that are deaf can watch the videos. I don't know if I have to check off a box to turn it on for these live videos, but definitely we'll check that out. So thank you for recommending that. Bright Light Sights, let's get you a card. So Bright Light Sights, let's get you a card. Most important, for your future career. Let's do another shuffle then. So Bright Light Sights. Future career. Let's see what that card's going to give. And you're going to have to do a search on this because I'm not sure what it's going to mean for you, but let's see what you get. Well, you got the Hangman as well. How interesting. So back to back Hangman. Eric pulls it, and now Bright Light Sights, you got the card as well. It's the Hangman card, and this is surrendering to new perspectives. So again, what does this mean for you? Well, you're talking about asking a question about your future career, and this is saying you must surrender to new perspectives. If you need more information on that, I pretty much tells all the story you need to know, but if you need more information, open your favorite search engine, type in the Hangman Truly Teach Me Tarot, and see what you can find on that. But that's freaking awesome right there. Jason Rivera. All right. Nice to have you. Thanks for sharing your real name. But I hope that helps. If you're looking for a new career, here'd be my suggestion. This is what I'm getting for a download for you, Jason Rivera. Go to YouTube and type in, "What if money was no object, Alan Watts?" What if money was no object, Alan Watts? And go watch that video. There's a few renditions of it. They're like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes long. And that is the great philosopher from Britain, Alan Watts, one of my favorites. He's been a mentor of mine, whether he knew it or not, because obviously he passed on before I was even born. But nonetheless, that whole video is based upon just finding out and discovering what do you want to do if money was no object. If you didn't have to pay bills and earn a living in this life, what do you really want to do? And if you get really good at it, then the money will come. So I would start there. And this is saying to surrender to new perspectives. And maybe that's the new perspective. Oh, you just quit your job. Okay, well, congratulations. You just quit your job. Good for you. So something else is opening up, and this card's saying to surrender to new perspectives. Be open for anything. But I will encourage you and anybody that's resonating with this message. If you're going to choose something to do in life, no matter where you're at in life, looking for a job, have a job, are unemployed, you own your own business, when you wake up every day, does it make you happy? Are you happy to get out of bed to start your day? That's the question you all should be asking yourself. Are you happy to get out of bed in the morning time? Or if you work graveyard, whatever. And if the answer is no, then what is it going to take for you to answer yes to that question? Because ultimately, folks, all of you must know now I'm into hedonism, not the sexual hedonism. I'm talking about the pleasure principle. I'm talking about waking up every day and just you can't wait to start your day. That's where it's at, folks. I believe that will be what the golden age is all about. Imagine if you didn't have to go to work and earn a living. What would you do with your time? You see, I think we need to get in those mindsets now and do some brainstorming on that. If you didn't have to get up and go to work or get up and run your business, what would you do with your life? And, sipping pina coladas on the beach is not a functionality. Because you get bored of that. Eventually, if you did that every single day, you would just be like, I would never want to drink another pina colada in my life. Imagine if you had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for 3 years straight for every meal. Do you think if then after 3 years you were given the choice, like, okay, you don't have to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches anymore, you'd be like, thank God. I'm so tired of I don't ever want to see peanut butter and jelly again in my life. That whole scenario, folks, is how this reality works. And the architect has seen every scenario, every single one that we can conjure up. And then it's been through patterns. And it's been through that. Like, God, I gotta have these people act out these parts again with peanut butter and jelly again. Really? This is boring. I'm gonna change the script up a little bit. So I'm going to bring in some kind of destruction, some little bit of chaos. Let's see how they react to the chaos. If there ends up becoming any free will, it's us reacting to the chaos. And then the Savior comes in, the order comes in. And you got chaos and order. And they're both from the same architect. Yes, I can pull a card for you. Who asked me? Sharbrinks. I wish I remembered your first name. I'm always going by your alias, and I know your first name, and I can't remember it, and I apologize. What will happen with your house? Well, what do you want? I can help you answer that question. What do you want to have happen to your house? See, and I'll pull a card for you. I'm going to definitely do that for you. But usually the answer is in the question. And the question is, what will happen with my house? Well, I would encourage you and just kind of push you. What do you want to have happen with your house? I would imagine there's something going on with it. Maybe you're forced to sell it, or maybe you have to rent it out, or are you behind in your mortgage? I mean, I don't know. I'm just speculating. But, what do you want to? What do you want to have happen? So you're already going to have the answer. Well, let's pull a card for you. Let's pull a card for you. So what will happen with your house? Let's see what we can get for you. Some insight. So this card, this one's going to be fun with transparency. This is kind of cool. So this guy, that's pretty awesome, I think. I may just keep this green screen just for that. Look at that card. That's so cool. It knocks the background out. So this is the Seven of Swords. And this card is typically a card of deception. And this is a card of like doing whatever it takes to serve your own needs kind of card. Actually, I'll give you the keywords on this. It's a tricky card, but 7 means completion. 7 of swords is the 7 of spades. That's the tree of life stuck down here in hell. And of course, that can lead to deception. But if you're not resonating with that, because you're like, wait a minute, what are you talking about deception? So the keywords are strategy, mental test, deception, gathering information, breaking agreements. This card's about doing what serves your own needs, even if it means deceptive or manipulation. So it can be that it's going to happen to you, manipulation, deceptiveness, or the fact that you or somebody close to you are maybe doing that. Now, it takes an authentic person, of course, if that is really the truth. I don't know. I'm just merely speculating. But it takes an authentic person to own that kind of space if you're living through that kind of energy. And if you're not, if that has nothing to do with you, what could be coming down the pike for you in your house is there could be some deception involved. So you want to make sure that you really pay attention to what's coming down the pike for you. I don't know what's going on with your house, but if you wanted more information, just go open up your favorite search engine, type in Truly Teach Me Tarot, 7 of Swords, and go read about that card and see what you can come up with. You'll find the answer you're looking for. So I hope that helps. Someone pulling some sneakies, or someone pulling some sneakies on you. Okay, it resonates. Good. So I see some people, Josh and Kevin, and you guys are talking about the 71. What about that 71? Well, 71 is the 20th prime number, and 20 is duality. What's really interesting is the guy that they casted for Lucifer in season 5 to play God was, what's his name, who was on in the movie Heat. And he's the Allstate guy, commercial. Can't think of his name, but he played the president in 24. But his name in numerology equals 71. 71 is lutetium. 174, that's architect. That's the sun, folks. Mel wants a card. Deciding between moving within country versus moving overseas. Okay. Moving for Mel. Moving for Mel. Let's see. Deciding between moving within country versus moving overseas. Sounds like can't win. You can't lose either way. Well, what's fascinating is, let's see what this one looks like in a transparent world. That's pretty cool. So you got the Tower card. And of course, the Tower is all about, this is the 16th card. And it's so fascinating because 16 is tied to the golden ratio, which is also tied to the word hell. So you see the word hell equals 16. And look at that. Look what that card is talking about. That's hell right there. Explosiveness, change. This is one of the most changing cards coming down the pike for you. I mean, serious change with the Tower card. So that's the one you got, Mel. And of course, it can mean so many different things on what you asked. But this is definitely sudden destruction is going to be upon you. Sudden change, drastic change when it comes to the question you asked. I hope that helps. And again, if you need more information, open up your favorite search engine and type in the Tower Truly Teach Me Tarot. Okay. I'm actually digging this background now, and I may just keep it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Give me some feedback. What do you think about the background? I was trying to make it even more interesting, but this is best I could do. The Tower. Get you guys go with your decoding in here. I love it. In this chat box, all these truth bombs, all these nuggets coming down the pike. I got somebody else. Lefkada 78. Lazarus. What should I focus on this week before my reading? Oh, Lazo, what's up? So I got some readings for some people. I got a reading tomorrow for somebody very special. I got a reading on the 15th. I got the 19th. They come in spurts, and I could never do readings every day because they just take a lot out of me. I mean, my mid-grade reading, which is my most popular, takes me 3 to 4 hours to complete, and then I'm not even done because after that there's emails that need to be sent out and follow-ups, and it's extensive. And I'm finding a way to. I'm coming out with another How to Decode Yourself. This one's going to be. This one's going to be a little bit different, but I'm going to be probably sharing my life coding system and really how to decode your life, really how to do it, and to find all the layers of your life that are most important, and to really define who you are and why you're here. So I'm working on that. I'm working on it. And there will be a nominal fee for that one because of all the work and research that's going into this. And this is the baby that I've been building called life coding that I've been working on for many, many, many years. I think I started back in 2013, and then I really started getting into it in 2016. But anyway, let's get a card for Lazo. What should I focus on this week before my reading? What should I focus on? Focus on this week, Lazo. Okay. Most important thing for you to focus on, Lazo. Well, Lazo, you get the 9 of Cups, and how cool is that under the? Let's see if I. So this is the card of all your wishes being fulfilled, all your wishes coming true. The 9 of Hearts, and when this card comes into play, really it's a state of becoming gratitude junkie. Because it's all a matter of what you have to focus on. And this is like all your wishes coming true. Gratitude. Being a gratitude junkie. Just folks, I mean, if this message resonates with you, Lazo, focus on being grateful in your life. And if you're already doing that, then you're already on track. And if you resonate with that, folks, like if you're not living in the now moment because life gets in the way, you get busy, but if you can focus on being a gratitude junkie, then become one. And if you want this t-shirt, by the way, it's one of my sponsors, thehealersproject.com. You go to the website. I'm going to put it in the chat box. Here it is, thehealersproject.com. And get a t-shirt, get a hoodie, get a coffee mug. What do you mine for? 71. Well, 71 is the 20th prime number, and that makes perfect sense. I mean, we're being mined for our energetic gold, which is our emotions, and that makes up the sine and cosine waves, and that's trigonometry, and that's tied to pi, and all these layers in advanced decoding. And that's why you can't just use numerology or gematria. Those are dead ends. Those are great to start with, but as you trek through and start to see this script through what the architect has built, it's very mathematically precise, it's profound, it's abstract, it's beautiful, and it's completely scripted. Completely. And that's why, as most of you know, I'm a big fan of Chaldean above and beyond any of the other ciphers, because I feel Chaldean directly tied into the tarot, into the cards of illumination, into the medicine deck, into alchemy. These other ciphers are not directly connected to these layers that I'm mentioning. They're just not. That doesn't mean the other ciphers don't have any merit. I get that. You know, when I first started pumping videos out, I was completely against some of these ciphers. I mean, there's like 80 different ciphers. Where'd they come from? But now I realize everything's from the architect, so eventually you're going to land at the truth and the origins and the source. And, I was fortunate to land on Chaldean and then just create my foundation and my base with that. And I'm really grateful for that, because I was able to create my foundation and then bolt on the cards and especially alchemy and pi and prime numbers and Fibonacci numbers and now the sine and cosine waves. Man, what a ride. This decoding world. What a freaking ride. Woo! Really big ride. Do a galaxy background. Yeah, I mean, what's interesting? For some reason, this green screen, I'm using a software program called OBS, and you can punch out the green screen, but it's really bizarre. The dark, I like doing black stuff with neon, and it just doesn't work with this. I don't know. I got to mess around with it more. I would love to have more of a galaxy. That'd be cool. Some planets in there, but it just hasn't been formidable. Mel, I'm going to a place with a volcano to recreate it. Okay, there you go. Actually, let me try to find a slide for all of you. Let me just give you a teaser on... let me just try to pull this up. And I'm going to show you guys why you can't just rely. Well, I shouldn't say why you can't just rely. Let me show you how important astrology is in all this. Okay. I'm going to show all of you the importance of astrology. And I'm going to show you with some dates on the calendar that are really going to put things into perspective. So let me just see if I can find this really quick. As I scroll through here. Yeah, let me just show you these two. I'm going to show you the Route 91 Festival. And then I'm going to show you the date in September, and I'm going to show you why astrology is so powerful. Oh. I got the market crash in 1929, showing how astrology plays a role in that. I'm trying to find the... Okay, there it is. It's 3 and 5, I think. Yeah. Okay. Hang on, folks. I'm just getting this. Just getting this. Let me just do it image-wise. Let me just show you how important this is. And I hope some of you are fans of astrology, because this will definitely really, really resonate with you. Oops. Try one more. Okay. Just almost there. Bear with me, folks. Okay. My eyes are getting dried out from the AC blowing in my face. Okay. All right. So let me show all of you how very special astrology is and how important it is. And then you pose the question, like, are the people that are acting out this blueprint, are they conscious of this information, of what I'm about to show you? And obviously, you could pose the yes or no on either case and make your case for that stuff. Most people that know astrology, when you become conscious of it, they definitely would be conscious of using it. But let me just show all of you oh, there it is. Okay. So right here is on the left-hand side is, and I showed this illustration in my decode of, which one was my one that I showed this Masonic arch? It's called the Royal Arch. It was in my decode of the Architect of the Universe 4. And on the left-hand side, and this is just if you're new to astrology, it's really simple. In the Royal Arch, in Freemasonry, the reason why they have the checkerboard floor is because that's the dance floor. That is the earth plane, our motherboard. It's not satanic. There's nothing demonic about it. This is just a representation of our dorsal root and ventral root, our good and bad sides, our good cop, bad cop. And the round circle there is the astrology wheel on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side is going to be the chart of September 11th. But on the left-hand side is the Masonic Royal Arch. And the first 7 astrology signs go from left to right. It would be Aries all the way around to Libra. And the very reason why they have 7 there and not splitting it up 6 and 6 is because the Libra and Aries through Libra is the representation of the rainbow. There are 7 rainbows, 7 colors in the rainbow. I'm getting tired. And then below the Royal Arch is the remaining 5 zodiac signs, which is Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, Sagittarius, and Scorpio. And what you'll notice at the bottom, that these 5 make up the dance floor. Now, these 5 are held in by water because Scorpio and Pisces on either end are the water signs, holding in the air, fire, and earth. Aquarius, Capricorn, and Sag, air, fire, and earth, held in by 2 water signs, which make up the dance floor. Capricorn is at the very bottom in the 6 o'clock position. Now, this is the default chart from the as above position, not the so below. Because Cancer at the top of this chart it would be at the bottom. They'd flip, they'd exchange spots. So Capricorn would be where Cancer would be, and Cancer would be where Capricorn would be. But the as above, this is the default position. So when you read your astrology chart, no matter where your zodiac wheel is, you're still going to have your default position, and you should be reading from that. When you interpret your chart, there's going to be truths in that. And that's why Capricorn's on the dance floor at the very bottom in the 6 o'clock position, which is going to be house number 4 in its proper position. And that's the heart chakra. Now, when you move to the right-hand side, now that we've established the default of the zodiac wheel using of course, the Masons, that they have a lot of truth in what they're showing. And of course, the pillars are made of copper. That's Boaz and Yachin. And if you add up 63.546 and you add up another 63.546, you're going to get a massive meaning there because copper is very conductive. And I believe this is what's kind of holding us all in. And it is harvesting our energy with these copper pillars. When you add up the 2 copper pillars, it's going to give you 127, which is the 31st prime number. And 31 is 3.1, and that's pi. It's all tied to this, folks. Pi is hell. We make up pi through the sine and cosine waves. Now, moving over to the right, you have that date in September. It's right there in red. This is the actual chart and snapshot of that day in September. Now, what you'll notice is that the outskirts of that natal chart, where the zodiac signs are, it is almost a near identical match to the defaulted one to the left. The only variation is that Aries is flipped and it is over on where the Libra should be, and the Libra is where the Aries should be. That's the only variation. Now, if you look from top to bottom on this chart where it says Moon at the top and it says Saturn at the bottom, well, that's an exact direct match of the defaulted position of the zodiac as above. This happened in September, folks. So you have Saturn at the very bottom on the dance floor. And what you'll notice, Saturn being in the 6 o'clock position, it's on the dance floor. Just to the left of Saturn is a little icon, and that would be Mars. So when this event happened, you had Mars inside the zodiac sign Saturn. And we know what Mars is. Mars is the god of war. And then, when you go to the top, you get some more synchronicities. Not synchronicities. You get some more nuggets. You got Jupiter. You got the dragon's head. You got the moon. And you got Saturn all wrapped up in the 9th house. And that is a big deal. It's all tied to the Hermit card. And it's a really big deal, folks. Really, really big deal. Now, what I want to show you, that Mars is the big standout on the dance floor in the sign of Saturn. That happened on September 11th. Now, when you go to this chart right here, this one is the chart for the Route 91 festival that happened on October 1st, 2017. Now, if you look in the 6 o'clock position, well, we're looking to the right now. To the left is the default. To the right is the actual snapshot of what happened on October 1st. At the very bottom, in almost the same exact position as it was September 11th, is that planet hanging around again in that position of Saturn. But this time it's Virgo, but it's still by default. It's Saturn. There's the planet Mars again. Now we're talking about the worst mass shooting in the history, having Mars in the same spot as having September 11th. Now, the Mars is just a little bit to the left of versus this one, but you'll see that Mars is still on the dance floor at the very bottom, and it would be by default, even though it's in the zodiac sign Virgo, it's still in the defaulted sign of Saturn. It's right there, and it's right there. And this obviously there's way more to it than I could show you. To break all this down, in this October 1st, Route 91, you'll notice over where Saturn is, up around the 2 o'clock position, you have Pluto in Saturn. So now you have not only you have Mars where it should be in Saturn, but it's in Virgo, but you also have Pluto in Capricorn. The worst shooting in mass history. Route 91 festival, there's the chart. And now you can see why. Make no mistake about it. This is all the very reasons why these charts are so important, folks. And that's why I'm a huge fan of astrology, and you got to know you got to know your charts. I shouldn't say you gotta, but when you do know your charts, you're going to have keys to your kingdom that are going to set you free. This is just Western astrology, by the way. I'm talking about getting into the Vedic system, which to me, to be honest with you, I'm so 50-50. I love both systems. But I've been really getting into the Vedic system. And man, is it so crazy accurate. So crazy accurate. And when I come out with my How to Decode Yourself instructional video, I'm going to include the Vedic system. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to break it down like no one's ever broken it down before. Not any video that I've seen. Where you're going to be able to do it all inside this video. And for those of you that like to decode yourself, you're going to want to see this video. You're going to want to see it. And I'm going to be using a lot of other websites and some great mentors that I have been grown fond of. And it's going to provide you a lot of truth in your life. And I'm really excited to get this thing out. I gotta sit down and work on it, because it's a lot of work that goes into it. All right, so let's go and see some of your comments, because I'm going to end the stream here in a little bit. I can't really do actually, we can do a collective card reading, card pull, I guess. We'll do one tonight. I'm going to do it really quick. But let me see if anybody else. But folks, when I do my readings, man, I'm a big proponent of Western, and I break it all down, each house, the planets, and then you got to go by the default. You can't just look at just the chart. You can then bring the default chart in and put them side by side, and there's energies in both of those. And when you finally start to decode yourself, oh man, it's just, life becomes so much easier, because you're like, a lot of the things that I do for people that I do readings for, it just gives you confirmations. And a lot of times that's all that we are looking for in life, is just a confirmation to walk through that door and give ourselves permission to go do it. Like, a lot of the things that may happen in our lives, they get suppressed. Or a lot of the things that we should be doing, they get suppressed, our talents, because our parents told us we weren't good enough, or someone told us we couldn't do that, or something happened and we had some kind of suppression. And then the reading just takes all that away. I'm a big proponent of Landmark, which is a personal development platform, and it's all about what happened, and then the stories that we created above and beyond what happened, and getting rid of the stories. Just what happened? Well, this happened. Okay. And then what happened? You ended up, well, this happened. And then I felt this way, and it made me feel this way. How many times we say, man, it really made me feel angry? Well, that's not the right vocabulary to use, because nothing made you feel anything, folks. No one can, and again, life's a contradiction, right? But no one can make you feel a certain way. She really made me angry. No, you let yourself get angry based upon what that person's actions were. See, when you own your shit, when you know how someone's going to show up because you read their code and you know how they're going to behave and you can see the patterns in their life, you'd be like, you don't have to accept it, but then you just like, that's just them being them. And then maybe you just don't want to hang around with that person anymore. All right, let's get you guys. Who asked me for a card, and then we've all been Italian in a past life. Well, man, pizza's been my favorite food. So I'm a former New Yorker or a former Chicago, because I love deep dish pizza too, man. Oh, man, I love me some deep dish. Whew. So I don't know, man. Chicago, New York. I probably would go with Chicago, to be quite honest. If I had to be really authentic, I'm probably more of a deep dish fan. I'm going through your comments, folks. Miss M, yeah, I can get you there. All right. So if you missed your question or whatever, I want me to pull a card, just throw it in the thing. But I'm gonna probably just pull a few more, and then I'm going to I'm going to do the collective card pull like I have been trying to do every week. And this is where we all come together and we pick a card together and we get an answer. Okay. So Miss M, your father and your strained relationship. Okay. Okay, so there are many meanings with this card that I just pulled. Look how cool that looks, man. It's transparent. I may just keep this green screen, ladies and gentlemen. That is so badass right there, because the back is look at that. It just turns blue. So what's cool about this? But Miss M, this is the card you got. This is the Juggler. It's the Two of Pentacles, otherwise known as the Two of Diamonds. And the Two of Diamonds is the 28th card in the deck, and that's linked to the word architect. Now, this card right here is it's all about juggling things. And it could have been in the reverse position, because when I pull these out, sometimes they are. And of course, when you get it in the reverse position, you're having a hard time juggling things. Really bad at it. Like, you have a lot of things going on. You're just like, oh man, I can't take this. You're ready to just throw the towel in. But, look, if you need more information on this card, just go to your favorite search engine, type in Truly Teach Me Tarot, Two of Pentacles. But since your question was on a strained relationship, I'm going to, and I'm just being me, take this for what it's worth. I'm just being the catalyst. I'm kind of like being the Dear Abby, but it's Dear Logan, right? Since you asked. Listen, and if any of you that resonate with this is coming from my heart and coming from a lot of personal development, a lot of work I've done on myself, a lot of seminars I've been to, and a lot of this is linked to Landmark. A lot of inspiration is linked to this seminar called Landmark. If you ever have a chance to go do Landmark Worldwide, I would highly suggest you do it. But Miss M, listen, if you have, and anybody that has a strained relationship, anybody that has a non-existent relationship with somebody that's their blood or their loved one, do whatever it takes to mend that. And you see, the trouble is on a lot of these circumstances is that it's you and that other person, or maybe that person and you just being the innocent bystander, that person or both of you trying to be right. And neither one of you want to compromise on what your position or stance is. So I would just encourage you, Miss M, why is your relationship strained to begin with? And if it's somebody like, oh, it was because of somebody else, well, that something else is not there anymore. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. So if you have a strained relationship, how do you mend that? And if it's a matter of like you having to say, well, you know what? Yeah, it's me just trying to be right and prove that person wrong. And that's what Landmark's all about. It's like, there are people that are still 60 trying to prove their parents wrong or trying to prove their circumstance right. And that's trying to prove somebody else wrong. So typically when you have a strained relationship, and I'm just purely speculating, so this may not even apply to you, Miss M, or anybody else for that matter, but where in your life are you trying to be right? And that's typically where you're going to be sacrificing love in your life, is when you're trying to be right. And so when you can kind of really be basic about it, wherever you're trying to be right in life, you're probably sacrificing some kind of love just so you can be right, just so you can be standing out on top. And these are things that you want to consider. Okay? So I hope that helps. Claire, best way to learn the tarot. Go to Truly Teach Me Tarot and just study the cards, know the numbers, and then, know what the cards of illumination are, because these came first. So essentially, you should be studying the cards of illumination first, and then get your tarot. And I have a new graphic I just created, and I sent it to Kevin Clark already, but I removed the pages. See, the pages kind of created a completely different format with the tarot, because remember, the tarot is from the cards of illumination. And these don't have pages. This is just 52 cards. So when you remove the pages from this deck, you're left with 74 cards, not 78, 74. And why I think this has a lot of merit to it is because that 74 is tied to the architect, like directly. It's tied to the God. It's the mirror of the 47. It's a very special number. 74 is. So I've been playing with it, this new graphic I created with the tarot having no pages. And man, the outcomes that I've been finding, wow, unbelievable. I shouldn't say unbelievable. I should say believable. So that's the best way to learn the tarot. Just start studying the cards. Okay? All right, Lisa. Lisa, let's get you a card. And whoop. So Lisa, let's see what this one looks like with the transparency. That's this is the 10 of diamonds or the 10 of pentacles. And when this card comes in, I mean, it's like being on top of the world. I mean, it's really the fulfillment of everything. The 10 of pentacles, really, the whole card is about having everything happen in perfection. The 10 of pentacles. I mean, what's going on in your life, Lisa? I mean, this is like having all your wishes and dreams being coming true. Let me give you some keywords on that. But it's, legacy, wealth, wisdom. It's a card of physical security. So you got money coming down the pike. You get an inheritance. Did you land a job, get a raise? What's going on? And if you need more help with that, just go to your favorite search engine, type in Truly Teach Me Tarot, 10 of Pentacles. Oh, shit, my pen just broke. Okay. Okay, and we have Pink Mig. Okay, let's get a card for you with all the stars and hearts. Pinky Mig or Pink Mig. October 28th. Is that your birthday, 10/28? I think that's Bill Gates' birthday. That doesn't mean anything, though. You can have the same birthday as somebody else. I mean, I would be like, wow, if I got the same birthday as that guy, that's... it's got a pretty important role, whether or not you like the guy in the script. Pretty big role, right? I'd be like very honorable to have that birthday. You have no association to that person, but still have association with it. So, Piggy Mig, you got this card called the Four of Swords, and it's a person lying down. There's 4 swords in total, 3 above, 1 below, and this is a card of rest and reflection. It's literally, this card means the cosmos, the architect sleeping. And this is rest and reflection. It's meditation going into. So clearly for you right now, the most important thing for you to focus on is going within, being of service to yourself, putting some time into you. If you're sick and your health is not so good, what is it going to take to get you back on tracks? A lot of pondering, a lot of meditation, a lot of thinking, some time to yourself. Maybe you haven't had a lot of time to yourself. Maybe you've been really pulled in many different directions. Now it's time to pull the plug, unplug from life, and just maybe go for a walk in the woods for a day. Spend some time on yourself. Go reward yourself. Go think about what you need to do to bring yourself to another layer of consciousness that's going to make you a better person. All right, so I hope that helps. And if you need more information on that card, open up your favorite search engine, type in 4 of Swords, Truly Teach Me Tarot. All right, I'm going to do one more card pull, and then I'm going to do the collective card pull, and I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to end this. I've been on for 3.5 hours. I got more to go, but I'm tired, and I got a reading tomorrow, and so I want to get some sleep, and I still have a few things I got to do tonight. It's 1:30 in the morning here, but anyway, let's get Logan. Logan wants a card here. Not me, somebody else. You're working on a film. Okay, so the film. Let's pull a card. The film for Logan. Well, you got the same card as Pinky Mig did. You got the 4 of. I mean, that's to pull a card twice in a row. This is the energy that's coming through. This is a rest and reflection card. This is a card of really meditating on your question, really going deep within, really making sure that it's going to matter to you. Is it really going to, and not being attached, because, if you're talking about something of a project, right, never being attached to that stuff, because the more attached you get to something, if the outcome doesn't happen the way you want it, the more attached you are to that outcome, the more disappointed you're going to get and the more emotions you're going to give off and waste. To me, and I know life's a contradiction, so there is no wasting, but at the same time, how much time do you want to spend on suffering? You see, if there's no attachment to the outcome of something, well, then you won't spend that much time wallowing in the demise of what you thought was going to happen. You'd just be like, oh, no big deal. Something else is going to come along that'll be just as good. And that is, to me, the most important thing to live out life like as, is not having any expectations in the roundabout way and being okay with what happens and the outcomes of these things that happen in our lives. Okay? Yeah, Lisa, it was the 10 of diamonds. It was the 10 of pentacles. Fortunate blessings. Everything, it's a complete manifestation. All right. So I'm going to do a group card now. And folks, again, here's the thing. Don't be attached to the outcome of what I'm telling you, but at the same time, celebrate your winnings. Like if I just pull the card and you really resonate with that and you really feel like it's coming down, like Lisa, you pulled the 10 of pentacles and that's the 10 of diamonds, fortunate blessings. If you really resonate with that and you're like, oh yeah, man, I got this project and I know it's going to happen, or I'm going to get that raise, or I'm going to get this, then just like celebrate on that. But celebrate when you get it, or celebrate because you know it's going to happen. But again, don't be so attached to the outcome. That's the trick. It's such a trick. It's so deceitful, this life. So if like it doesn't happen and you're so attached to it, it's just you get so bummed out. And we all do it because we're human. Okay. So let's do a group card. Okay. We're going to do a group card. I'm going to do one more shuffle. And for all of you that have stuck around, thank you so very much. All of you that are watching this transmission, I'm trying to make these a better experience for everybody, dropping as much truth bombs as we all can in here. I feed you, you feed me. And these shows are just going to get better and better. I have more things in store coming out. And some more great decodes coming out as well. But let's do a collective conscious card pull. And if you're new to this, I'm reading Claire. Give us the 10 of Pentacles, please. If you're new to this collective card conscious pull, what it is we ask a question and we come together as one mind. And it is all of us putting our thinking caps on. And it's an individual thing, but it's a collective thing. So we ask a question like, what's the most important thing for all of us in this world to be focusing on in life right now? I think that's going to be the question because I'm tired and I don't really feel like thinking about what we could have for a question. And so that's what we're going to ask tonight. And we're going to come together collectively. We're all going to sit in about 30 seconds to a minute of just quiet meditation. You can close your eyes. And I want you to really think about this question. What would be the most important thing for the world to be focused on right now? Out of everything going on in the world, I need you to scrape away everything that's going on in your personal life. Set all those things aside right now. We're talking about the entire world. The entire world right now, if we scrape away all the things that are going on in our lives, which are probably too hot to handle, I'm talking about the entire world right now. Everything that's going on around the world. What's the most important thing for this world to do right now? To really, and of course that is going to be to make the world a better place, as we call it better. What's the most important thing for this entire world to focus on in life right now? Whatever that means. So we're going to ponder on that question. We're going to think about this question. Forgetting about everything that's going on in your life, everything that's going on in your life. Not belittling any of that, but we're coming together. If we were all to unite tomorrow, if we were all to come together tomorrow as a 8 billion strong, or at least those that are service to others, all the good people, if we were all to come together, what would that look like? What is that going to look like for all of us? So I want you to think about that. So I'm going to shuffle the cards. I'm going to do a couple just shuffles and move the cards around. We're going to get our answer. It's been pretty accurate so far since I've been doing these. But here we go, folks. You ready? No music. I got to reset my my tech is, I don't know, it's not working correct, but all right, folks. So think about that. All of us coming together, all the people that are here to make the world a better place. All the people that are focusing on love and really setting the differences aside and really just letting people do what they need to do, live and let live, not worried or caring about what other people do. They're going to do it anyway. But what is it going to take for all of us that are service to others and love to the world? What is it that we need to do to come together collectively? And now we're going to let the card talk. All right, so here we go. Just so you guys, let me pull them right up here in front of you. Here's the deck. It's kind of funny because we start with the bottom. Let me just show you. So normally when I pull these cards for people, when I do them for fun, I'm out in public, whatever, I'll pull the bottom, the middle, and the top. The bottom is the Hermit card, and this is the 9th card, which is a representation of the old man on the mountain or the old woman on the mountain, the wise, the sage, the counselor, the healer. So that's at the bottom. So let's go to the middle of the deck. Let's just pick. I'm just going to go right to the middle. And it's the King of Swords. The King of freaking Swords. This is the King of the Earth because it's the swords, it's the spades. The King of Spades is card 52. 52 is the God. The King of Swords is the authentic, authoritative ruler, and this ruler would be the smartest king because it's on earth. And I mean, look at the coinciding of the two cards. It's the Hermit, the all-wise and all-knowing sage, the Hermit, and then tied with the King of Swords. This king is a king that rules with no emotion, in a sense. So it's the most fair. It doesn't use looking at somebody's situation and it doesn't use favoritism. It uses its sword to direct justice where the justice is needed. That's what the King of Swords is all about. So those are the two cards right there. And then the bottom one, I haven't even looked at it yet, is the 7 of Pentacles, the 7 of Clubs. And this card is, you notice the guy, this is 7 now, and this is 7 of Pentacles, 7 of Diamonds. This is 7 of Diamonds is the 33rd card in the deck. 33 is the Christ Ascension and all that stuff. This card, the symbolism of this card right here, folks, is all about sweeping. This guy's right here, and he's swept up all these pentacles, and now he's looking all of them over. And the symbolism in this, the meaning behind this, is observing what matters most in life. Wow, what a trio of cards. So glad I did it this way. So here are the 3. And oh, what a 3 they are. You have the The old man on the mountain, the old woman on the mountain, the wise, the sage one. This is the Christ. This is Mohammed. This is Buddha, Gandhi. All of them are in this card. So what kind of energy does this bring? It's the number 9. 9 is the most wisest number. That's why it's the hermit. It brings all the wisdom to the world and says, here you go. You can have all of it. Make the world a better place. And then, of course, the king comes in. That is the most authoritative, the most loyal, the most dedicated, and it does things with justice. It doesn't use emotions to make its decisions. It uses more of a logical, assertive kind of decision-making process. It does what is the best scenario for the situation. King of Swords. And then we got the observation. This is like Sunday. What do we do? What are we told to do on Sunday? Rest and reflect. We're supposed to rest and reflect on the previous 6 days. Sabbath day. This is what this card means. Resting and reflect. So what we have is resting. The world right now needs to rest and reflect and observe the things that are needed to be thrown away or needed to stay. The world right now needs to look at what is most important and what is not even important at all. And then we will make our decisions with all the wisdom in the world with the hermit, and we will make these decisions with the most fair and assertive outcome possible. Very powerful trio, folks. So to me, what do you need to be doing in your personal life? In your personal life right now, you need to be going inward and looking over. This is on a personal level. We just did it on a conscious level now, on a worldly level, coming together as a collective that are service to the world to make the world a better place. How do we do that? We do that with a lot of brains, smart. You need to start putting on your most your best hat. You need to be putting on the most wisdom you can drum up. What would make the world the best place possible? It starts with you, right? It starts with you. It doesn't start with your neighbor. I can tell you that. In order for the world to become a better place, it starts with you. And it starts with me, and it starts with everybody else. But ultimately, it starts with you. And you need to go into go into your wisdom and then realize when you analyze everything, you got to start analyzing your life. What would you do on a personal level now? If you had to analyze your entire life, what would you get rid of and what would you keep? That's what this card's talking about. Ascension. This is the 7 of diamonds. 7 of diamonds is the 33rd card in the deck. And that's tied to the Christ, and that whole ascension is our vertebrae, and that is leading to nirvana. And nirvana, talked about in the ancient text, means you got to get rid of everything to ascend. Everything. That means the judgments that you have on people because they want to go get that treatment done, and you're like, why are you going to do that? That's stupid. Why do you care what they want to do? Even if it's somebody that you love, even if it's somebody that's blood, even if it's a friend, it's their freaking life. It's not your life. And yet we meddle in I see so many people, and we're all guilty of this, by the way, myself included. We just got to be conscious of it. We meddle in other people's lives without even them asking us our opinion. They're meddling in it. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, even if you're not saying something to somebody, if you're thinking it, it's just as bad. If you're one of those that don't say it, if you spoke your mind, you would be speechless. People would be punching you in the face if you really spoke your mind. That's just as bad as actually meddling in someone else's affairs. Say, hey, can I tell you what I think? Because the thought precedes the spoken word. It's this first, the mind. So if you're just meddling in people's business just by thinking of their business, like, man, what a retard that person is. And I don't mean that, I know some people would get offended by that word. I'm just using that word. How stupid is that person for doing that? Wow, they're dumb. Number one, you're judging. Number two, you're meddling in somebody's business and you don't even have to say anything. It's just your thoughts that end up giving the energy to that person. And you're actually doing them a disservice and you're demising your own life. So this really, 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 really is talking about paying attention to your own life and analyzing everything in your own life and deciding what's worthy of staying in your life and what is not worthy of staying in your life. So this is just a reminder, folks. What's going to make the world a better place starts with you. And you need to start analyzing your thoughts. Like, are you meddling in other people's business just by thinking about their business? Are you so fixated on CNN or ABC? And I hear so many people, you know what they say? I don't watch TV anymore. But you know what they're doing? They're sitting online and they're watching a shit ton of hours on the internet. It's the same thing. You don't have to watch TV anymore. You got the internet now. You got your phone. You're on there. So let's just be authentic with ourselves. And really, if we analyze our lives and we go through this seven of cups, seven of Pentacles card, what do you need to analyze in your life? And when you analyze those things in your life, focusing on your life, what do you need to get rid of? Using your wisdom now with the Hermit card and using that King of Swords, which he doesn't take any shit, that king. Does not take any. Comes with the sword. I mean, when I'm talking about coming with the sword, the King of Swords comes with the freaking sword. Comes with the sword. So when you bring all those together, what kind of wisdom are you using to bring the sword to your own personal life to either decide it's got to go or it's good enough to stay? Not worrying about what's going on in the world. We talked about this on the last transmission and the one before that. So many of you are so heavily invested in other people's business that you don't even pay any attention to your own life. You're too busy trying to pull the rafter out of their own eye. You're too busy trying to say, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. Well, how about paying attention to your life? And then you know what some people will say? My life's cool. I'm not going to get that thing done. So I'm cool. Well, that means your life is completely just hunky-dory, like there's nothing for you to work on in your life. I guarantee each and every one of us have something to work on in our lives personally to make our lives better, to make our frequency go up. And if we were just to take any energy off of the people in this world that are going to do things that go against what you believe, if you just take your energy off of those people and put it onto your own life, you then have to be responsible for your own life. And a lot of you don't want to be responsible for your own life because then you have to start taking action on your own lives. And that ends up not allowing you to put any any energy on some other people in this world. So again, folks, the cards spoke. They're completely accurate. You need to start analyzing your own life. Take your energy off the freaking world, man. It's just, and like, don't be, I don't watch TV, but you're spending all this time in front of your phone and the internet, just whatever. We all observe the Matrix. Okay. We all do it. But how much energy are you giving to it? I mean, these people in the top positions, they know how magic works. And they'll gladly take your energy. They'll gladly take your magic. You know, each and every time you talk about that 19 thing going around, do you realize every time you actually talk about it, you end up giving it energy, which keeps it alive? You're contributing to the aliveness of that idea. That's how magic works. Every time you're at work and you talk about it, oh, did you hear that person went and got that? You're feeding that 19. 19 is a battery. That's why they chose the number 19. And it's the sun card. But anyway, it's besides the point. But every time you end up talking about these ideas, essentially what you're doing is you're keeping them alive. And you think that you're doing some good in the world by gossiping about it and we all do it. All of us do it. It's just being conscious of what we're doing and then minimizing those things in the world. So if you just kind of just let people do what they want to do. Let people do whatever the frick they want to do. They're going to do it anyway. With or without your blessing, they're going to do whatever they want to do, the majority of them. They don't care what you got to say. They don't care about your opinion. But you got to tell them because it's your identity. That's your little voice in your head that runs you. It wants to tell people what you think they should do. They don't care. So if you just, I'm going to just end this transmission on a very, like a comical, a lighthearted, just, folks, forget about the theater of life. It's a joke. It's all scripted, and just focus on your script because it's all that matters. Some of you, like Bob Proctor said it so great. He said that the majority of people are not even the main actors in their own script. They're just like an extra. I'll say that again. Bob Proctor said that most people, because we're all living out a life that's scripted, it's all theater. Most people are acting out their life and they're not even the main actor in their own script. They're just like a walk-on or an extra. It's funny. I'm going to encourage you to X that. Become the main star in your own movie, folks. Act like you're on a permanent audition. Behave that way. Forget about the static in the world. Forget about what they have to do because they're doing so wrong. And every time you think that, you're giving these people energy. And it just keeps what they're doing alive longer. So the very best thing that we can do is observe our own lives, deciding what's got to go and what's allowed to stay. And of course, those are going to involve habits. What habits are going on in your life that have to go? That you've been just kind of silently just letting them happen? What habits need to go in your life? You're analyzing everything with that card. And then you're using your your wisdom that you've gotten from that Hermit card, and then you're going to be the King of Swords, and you're going to be ready to freaking axe that shit and get rid of it. That's what's going to make the world a better place because it starts with you, not them, not they. Did you hear what they did? Did you hear what he did? Did you hear? Oh my God, she's going to do that. I can't believe it. I can't believe she's going to do that. That's crazy. Folks, that's the times we're living in right now. People just wanting to talk about everybody else because it makes them feel superior. And of course, it's all about our identity, and we're all guilty of it, of course. There are gradients. But you want to stand in the middle and be an observer and just like, okay, you're going to go do that? Okay, cool. If that's what you want to go do it. And not talking about it, because then you have to give that energy out and it's not worth your energy. Start talking about things that are worth your energy. Start giving people your energy that deserve it, that are going to give you reciprocation, that are in your tribe, that are part of your tribe. And then stop talking about the people that are not in your tribe. Stop talking about the things that you don't like that you're just keeping alive anyway, because that's how magic works. So that's my long outro of this transmission tonight. And I hope you got something out of this. Thanks each and every one of you for your comments. And become a gratitude junkie that keeps you in the now moment. Be grateful for everything in your life. And it starts with you. Focus on what you're grateful for in your life as much as you can. When you're walking outside, be careful where you're stepping, knowing that there's insects that have families out there too. Everything's alive. Everything deserves life. There is no superiority. And I hope you got something out of this transmission. Some of you that got the cards pulled, I hope you got something out of that. And if you are interested in a reading, and you feel the itch, you feel the urge, send me an email. I do everything by email, and then I send you my website and all stuff, but I keep a log of all this stuff. So my email is decodeyourreality@gmail.com. Just send me an email. Tell me you're interested in a reading. And if it's meant to be, it's going to happen, you know? So that's pretty much it, folks. Much love to all of you that have been on here tonight, and all you great decoders out there. You guys are freaking awesome. And until next time, next week, we'll probably try to keep this going. It'll be what's your question number 15, and we'll see what kind of background I can come up with for next week. So anyway, folks, that's all I got for today. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality. I thank each and every one of you for your support, your donations, your Patreons. Until next time, folks, we'll see you later.